Good morning. It's 9:02 a.m. We are officially starting our July 25th regular meeting of the Board of Directors. I'd like to ask everyone to stand first for a moment of silence. And now for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
I know.
But before we get started, I do want to mention that with obvious flooding that we've experienced, that the association has a number of pamphlets and information for anyone who's affected. There's a number of programs through the Hope Center and other places that we have at the back. The administration has forms to be filled out, and they can point you to more information. So I just wanted everyone to know that. This meeting, we have an executive session with the group for the removal committee, and so as to have this conversation with them, I would like to motion to briefly adjourn for an executive session, and we would return to our regular meeting after this discussion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? With that said, we are adjourning for a brief executive session. We will return to regular meeting no later than 9:30.
We have to leave.
Charlene.
I got it.
Yeah, I think so. It's good to have a,
Recording in progress.
Good morning.
how you doing, Will? Hey, Sean, did you say you had an agenda? Yeah. April?
All right, we are resuming session after our executive session. We have Mr. Conoly on Zoom to speak to the membership. Will, can you hear me?
I can just barely hear you. Are you calling me to speak?
Yes, we were ready for you. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, great.
All right. Please.
Yes, I can hear you a little bit better now. What I thought I might do is I can just kind of give a broad overview of the resolution and the bill, and maybe a little bit of background history of what the bill is seeking to address, if that sounds like a good approach to the board.
Yes, thank you. Please.
Okay, great. So what we have before the board is a resolution to support a state bill that would make two changes to the enabling legislation that created the Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District. And those two changes are, one, to remove the rural requirement for, board members who want to be elected to the Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District. The second is a requirement that the groundwater district regulate in such a way that it protects the historical spring flow of Los Moras Springs. And so I'll speak a little bit to that first change around the rural requirement. So right now, in order to run for the Groundwater Conservation District, to be a director on the Groundwater Conservation District, right now a majority of those board seats have a requirement where you must live outside of Fort Clark Springs and you must live outside of the city of Brackettville. Well, that only leaves 18% of the population of Kinney County who is eligible to run for a majority of the board seats on the Groundwater Conservation District. It is an extremely unusual rule. We are the only county in the state of Texas that has a rule like this. And it was done intentionally in order to consolidate control in the rural areas of Kinney County where the pumping is on the water. So what you have is 18% of the population of Kinney County, 18% that lives in the rural areas, controls 100% of the county's pumping regulations, because that 18% is guaranteed by law to have a majority of the board seats on a majority vote board. And so that is the issue. And it's been that way for 20 years. We're the only county. And so we are trying to correct that issue by changing the state law. And then the second portion of the bill, which is fairly self-explanatory, simply reads that the district, the groundwater district, must protect Los Moras Springs. And we think that's a good thing. We think that ought to be something that is not controversial. They can decide for themselves how to do that, how best to protect the spring. But we're asking that the state of Texas tell the water board that they must do that. So those are the two big changes. I will pause there and see if there's any questions around those two things that this bill is trying to change.
Will, I got a question. Okay, section B says, just so the membership knows, to be eligible to be a candidate for or to serve as a director from a county commissioner's precinct, a person must be registered voter of that precinct. And then what you're striking out is line 2, reside in a rural area of that precinct. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, if you're a county commissioner in Kinney County, are only the people that reside in that precinct, but not necessarily specifically where they live, are they able to run for county commissioner?
Correct. Anyone who lives in the precinct of a county commissioner's seat, whether they live in the city or the fort or outside of all of those limits, as long as they're in the precinct, they can run for that precinct seat for county commissioner.
Thank you.
So this would be a big deal if we could get this changed. The legislative session is coming up this January, where they will discuss bills like this, and we're hoping that we can get this voted on and approved, and the result will be that folks in Kinney County can elect who they want to that board, to the groundwater board, and the groundwater board will be able to make decisions about regulating. No one's trying to prevent someone from being able to farm. I think that most of the community wants balance, where we've got some farming, but we've also got some spring flow. And the state of Texas has said the way that we're gonna make decisions around limiting pumping and regulating water is we're gonna have these groundwater districts. these counties are gonna be able to vote on what they want. But right now, we're not able to do that because we can't have the candidates run, from among the community here in Kinney County. So this will correct that and let anybody run, regardless of whether you live in the city or you live in Fort Clark Springs. If you're in the precinct 1 or precinct 2, whatever the case may be, and you want to run for that precinct's groundwater board seat, you ought to be able to run. And so that's what we're hoping to do. So hopefully that this will lead to more representative and fair elections in Kinney County and lead to better decision making at the groundwater district. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. Are there any questions from the members? No? This is yes, Mr. Olson.
I guess, the city council, that's germane to what you guys are talking about. Yesterday, the city council had their rescheduled, monthly meeting, and the same proposal was, brought up, by the border organization, this, Eddie Morales, modification to the rules. And it should be noted that no action was taken. They chose not to vote for or against or table, but no action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam? So MUD has approved this. It came out in the newspaper that MUD is for it. I'm certainly for it. And apparently the city is not interested at the moment to be for or against it. So
We'll return to this as a discussion topic. I just wanted to honor Mr. Conley's time, and we had set a window for him to speak. So I'm going to proceed with the meeting structure that we're all well and familiar with, and that is our first agenda item. But that was at a request that Mr. Conley explain what they're proposing to us to vote on regarding, this bill that they're going to be presenting. So, with that said, Will is still there. Mr. Conoly,
Yes,
you're
I'm still here.
you're free to go or watch the board meeting if you would like.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Will. Thanks, Will.
All right. I guess we're returning. Out of formality, let me say we have a quorum here, since I missed that at the beginning. And we've established a quorum. Mr. Guzman's on Zoom with us today. Okay, on to our board reports. Approval of minutes. Have the directors reviewed the minutes for the special board meeting on June 15th, 2026? The regular board meeting on June 20th, 2026?
Yes.
And the special board meeting on June 29th, 2026?
Yes, but the June 29th one has some
things you would like to
it's
address.
incomplete.
Okay.
So
So,
right at the very end, there's like a motion that has question marks and a time of pausing or returning from executive session. It's just got question marks in there, but it doesn't actually have the motions and stuff. So I think we just gotta clean that up.
oh, it's just the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and then whatever, right here, a motion was made in the motion, but then there's nothing there.
We'll have to go back.
So I don't know what that, and there's so much to misremember, I don't remember if we made a motion, so.
All right, so, do we have any other comments on the minutes? Okay, then I would motion to approve line item A and B, the special meeting and the regular meeting minutes for the 15th and the 20th, and to we'll come back to the 29th.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
All right, on to the secretary's report.
I have,
Sharon, microphone,
Yes.
please.
I only have one thing, and it's a letter from Mr. Haenn. Greetings from Fort Clark, Texas, Modernization Outpost of the Old Frontier. Please be advised that responsibility for the Visitor Center has been delegated to our director, Steve Cosby. He is now the single point of contact and registered agent for any and all Fort Clark Visitor Center related communications and issues. And this is from the Modernization Outpost of the Old Frontier, nonprofit organization, 501c3. And I don't believe we have to vote, it's just, he's changing, and they're, are appointing Steve Cosby as the new contact. I received that with certified letter.
Thank you, Ms. Wolf. On to the treasurer's report.
I would like to get clarification from Mr. Crosby, because I know he's not well right now.
Do you want a copy of that? That's what copies. Anybody wants a copy?
Okay, so the treasury report for last month. So the total balances for all our bank accounts increased $15,061 and change from May to June, from $927,824 to $942,885, an increase of 1.62%. The largest increases were Fidelity Restricted, $12,829. That was a combination of our normal restricted contribution and special assessment contributions. Bank and Trust General went up $12,366. The gains decrease in Texas Community Account of $6,000, because now we generally put most of our money in Fidelity so it can earn us investment. The investment interest increased by only $53.86 from $2,522.95 up to $2,576.81 in June. Buildium QuickBooks assessment reconciliation now matches exactly, because I've switched to using a monthly journal entry rather than trying to match every single deposit, which proved to be quite fragile and error prone. So now and I've spoken with the auditor on this, and he's assured me that if those match the income statements of Buildium, that will be good enough to satisfy him. June motel revenue was $10,829.03 with 149 rooms occupied. Member services reported $800 in June activity. This is just a breakdown of the interest that we earned on separate accounts. The general account got us $1,310.50 and other amounts. Let's see, that's profit and loss for October through June 25. Reports a total income of $1,832,369 and total expenses of $1,689,085.56. Fiscal year to date net operating income of $143,000 after income and expenses. Fiscal year to date $239,000. That does not include some of our insurance payments, because we're on a cash basis and those hit depending on where we actually paid the money, and we're going to look into getting that reflected in there in some manner. The historic and the restricted funds, it says due now, but I transferred those a few days ago. Historic fund got $2,378.97. Restricted got $7,146.97 from regular assessment income, and the special assessment amounts are going down because most of the people that we're going to pay have done so. There's still a reasonably good amount of outstanding special assessment payments.
Jason, is the 78,000 what we've collected in special assessments?
Yes, as of the end of June. There's still a bit more from July. I just didn't include in this report. So yes, that is what we have transferred in. We collected this much. We transferred in previously 76 this, and we in June we collected this much, and this is just a minor adjustment. If you go and say, oh, I'm not adding this money to the special assessment that was incorrectly posted, then it needs a small adjustment to that. It was, I guess, one person said, I'm not paying that, or I don't know exactly where the 6037 came from, but that was just a minor adjustment so that the total we collected and the total we transferred since May 2025 matches up exactly. Here's a bit more detail of the motel report. Where is it? Oh, so members booked 30 rooms in June, member guests 56 rooms, non-members 63 rooms, a total of 149 rooms. And member services, they got $800 in member activity. I'm assuming mostly from new FRM fees to set up their membership and processing transfers. We had 3 transfers, 4 new FRMs, 3 FRM cancellations, and 2 give back properties, and no FRM reinstatements. Just from the charts that I always show, this is our total balances since 2022, and we did edge up overall a bit from 927 to 942,000. We are still doing well since we've moved most of our money into Fidelity. We're still easily gaining passive income, nearly $2,600 of passive income to us last month alone. And the difference of this is before we started moving on to Fidelity, we were not getting a lot of interest that we could have, but that's the past. But now that we are mostly on Fidelity, there's very little difference, $75 estimated difference in monies we didn't get, but that's because we have to pass cash and checks through our local banks because there's no way to put it in there. Our operational balance has been pretty flat lately. Didn't change much, down $1,000. Our restricted balance has been going up a bit, mainly because of the special assessment money we've been putting in there. I'm done. Usually, yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. If it comes up like that, do you have to let me?
Yeah, what is it?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Morning, Shelley.
Great. Well, here's the report for today. Operational updates. Budget. We held a productive budget workshop on the 18th. The CPI assumption changed from 4.25% to 3.5%. Few minor revisions remain and will be completed by our next workshop. As of July 9th, the association has collected $210,665.29 in delinquent accounts. And of course, we had the flood. So Tuesday, Matt Bland, Anna Martinez, Lee Gilby, and I completed training at the library with FEMA about how to submit for flood recovery funds, and also gave us information on how residential people can also submit for that. So I'll be sending out a dispatch with the links and everything so you all can have that. If you have questions, you can call the office. And then we were also maintenance, cleared multiple trees from several areas of the creek. They spent over a week in waist deep water, mud and everything, and they just did a fantastic job. We still have a lot of cleanup to do though. And so I just want you all to be patient. It will get done, but they got the biggest stuff out of the creek except for, I think, the pecans in Unit 1 right now. And we are continuing to collect photographs or anyone with relevant photos. If you can email that to me, because I actually have to submit that when we do the PSTAT. So those pictures will tell a story and will help, hopefully give us funds for the cleanup that we had to do and for our labor and everything else. Creekside, Cassie has spoken with Cisco and Benny Keith about food options and kitchen setup to provide greater variety. We're looking at maybe doing something in about 3 months once we're all settled down out there. We've got some really great things that are coming on the horizon with that. We also met with Cisco, and we will be meeting with Benny Keith out at the RV park because we'd like to put something together as like a little convenience store for the RVers to be able to buy just some toiletries, soap powder, shampoo, so they don't have to go to town. And maybe, if we can, and I can get a good thing for a cooler, maybe have some drinks and maybe some frozen stuff so they can just microwave their food. But we're all working on that, but that is something that's coming up. We will meet with the auditors next week to determine whether any additional information is needed to complete the audit. We are almost done. Insurance. I'm working with another insurance company in Del Rio right now to compare pricing and coveraging following Gallagher's acquisition of Assured Partners. So I will give you more of an update when I have more information on that. And then also 2 asphalt repairs. We did some asphalt repair over by the bridge where you, right when you get to, you know, the pro shop before you get there, and there's that right turn, that big, gigantic crater hole where we filled it. And we're gonna do a little bit more work. And yes, I know, we have work to do everywhere on the Ford, so I'm doing as little by little of what we can. And then members are encouraged to go to the clubhouse and enjoy margaritas, televised sports, and foosball. So if you are into foosball, come on down, have a drink, and play, okay? Golf maintenance, Max and his team and several volunteers have been trimming trees throughout the golf course. The improvements have been tremendous. I went out there myself and looked, and it was a lot more work than I ever imagined. They took so many loads out to the landfill, but they worked, all the volunteers really worked really hard. And if you go out there, even if you're not a golfer, you should go out and look and see how nice it looks. The large oak tree at the golf course entrance also needs to be trimmed, and because we can't get a truck in there to deliver. It's just too low. And it did damage one of the top of their trucks. So we're gonna have to trim that up, so we can talk about that at a later time. I'm just giving you a heads up, okay? And preventative maintenance, I had drafted a request for preventative maintenance of the association's 90 AC air conditioner units that we have. Placed the advertisement in the Kinney County newspaper. A copy also went to Mr. Reyes so that he could submit a bid as well, because he doesn't get the paper. Proposals are due August 25th to 2026 by 5 p.m. RV park, we recently welcomed additional pipeline workers with more expected to arrive. That was a surprise. And then I've already talked about, wanting to get a little convenience store. Landscaping, DLP's final day was the 24th. We are currently evaluating another vendor and will provide additional information as it becomes available. Maintenance collected 75 piles of brush before the flood. We are developing a spring and summer pickup schedule, evaluating a designated member drop-off area to help the maintenance be able to go to specific areas instead of all over the fort. I think it will help cut down on labor, and I think we could get it done better, but we're working on that, and we have not come up with a schedule yet, but we'll send that out. And also, to help keep Fort Clark looking good, dispatch reminders will advise members that white goods and other bulk items may be placed at the curb only on the Sunday before the scheduled pickup. And I'm just gonna be honest right now, the minute my guys go out and pick this stuff up, it gets put right back out like that day. And we don't need stuff to sit out there for a whole week. So if our members could please just wait till the next week on a Sunday to put that out. We don't need to see beds laying outside. We don't need refrigerators laying outside. It just doesn't look good. So I would love your help in helping us make the fort stay nice looking. Just FYI. 4th of July. The event, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought was successful. It was amazing. There were only a couple of minor issues. We didn't have any problems. We had so many people in the pool, so many vendors down here, and I heard so many good things, and I think the fireworks were amazing. That's my opinion. I don't know what your opinion is, but I would love to hear it. Donations, we had margaritas, beer, and water. Margaritas, beer, and water, we had vendor fees, we had pool admission, and it cut it off. Well, the margaritas and beer brought $660 in. The vendor fees brought $460. The pool admission was $835. And so with that, we also collected in donations $6,600. And then, I know, wasn't that amazing? But the fireworks alone were $5,000, so, yeah. And then the donations for $1,000 actually was for the pool to be open, because Missy had approached us with mud and said they had the water, if we would like to buy it to make the, holiday great, and we did, but we are gonna wind up spending $800 because we had it going the whole weekend. So it cost $1,800 to keep the pool full during that time. And then, so next year's the 175th anniversary of Fort Clark. So I've already booked the fireworks for next year. So we are gonna start collecting very early because we want to have the best 175th anniversary ever. Okay, you with me? Yes, that's it?
Yeah.
Thank you, okay. So, with the board approval, we would like to establish a committee to help us plan for this 175th, because there's gonna be a lot to do for that, to make it special. Then, bank and licensing update, I'll be the signatory on the surety bond, which is getting renewed in August. That's our bond for our roads. And then I won't say this one yet. Motel, the current motel work has been completed. Accessible shower rails have been installed. A reconfiguration of the wiring for Patton is in progress. And after minor upgrades and beautification that we're gonna work on the insides of the rooms, the rental rates will increase by 7%, which is about $5 additional money. So.
To be clear, that is 7% is $5 on the member rate, so it's a little more than that on the non-member rate.
Oh, yes, thank you, I appreciate it. And that's it? Yes, sir.
Is there anything working on the Red Bridge?
Oh, that's part of what, we haven't yet. We just got rid of all the trees, but yes, we will be working on that, and that's also gonna be something that we're gonna submit to FEMA as well. Yeah, because it's gonna take a lot of work, and I haven't looked. Huh?
I saw Jason trying to open that earlier, it didn't work.
I can't.
Red Bridge is repaired.
Oh,
It's passable.
well, nobody told me, so, okay, well, there you have it. Thank you,
Funded.
Jack,
The jack of all
not
trades.
Jake.
Jack,
I have
Yes,
one question. That big tree that went into the creek down near the office.
Yes,
That's gonna be a real pain to get out of there, and if you need some volunteers to help make us pull that thing out, I'm happy to do that.
okay, thank
And I
you.
can count on my friend Lee back here somewhere.
He's helping somebody else right now.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I know Lee will help, definitely. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Sure.
Yes,
Can we get a dispatch regarding the white goods out as soon as possible to remind the members about, what the preferences are of the board, number one? And number two, we are charging for beds and refrigerators to be picked up, correct?
yes, we are.
Okay, I think a dispatch soon just to give it a reminder to the entire membership about that.
Yep, that's on my list of stuff to do. Thank you for the
Is
reminder.
there any remedy, like, some people don't care?
Yeah, if they don't care, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna start charging you a fee, and you're not gonna like that.
Good for you.
So,
Good idea.
if it goes in your pocket, then maybe you won't leave that stuff out there. And we can do that. And it may start out at 25, or it may start out at 50. And if you don't pay it, then you're gonna get a late fee on that. And late fees are $30. So if we charge you 50 and you don't pay it, you're gonna late fee for 30, that's gonna be 80. And
that's
that
if
will
you-
go out in a dispatch, Mr. Memo,
And that's if you put the stuff out
ahead
ahead
of
of
time.
time.
Yes.
Like if it's a Monday pickup, you put it out on a Sunday afternoon.
That's good,
Okay.
yes. I just don't wanna see junk for
Right.
a whole week outside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Charlene. On to the committee reports. We do not have an airport report. We have an architectural report. Is,
You have it, I think it's for the,
I have it.
okay,
Is the chair here to read the report? No? Okay. So, the activity summary for the architecture committee as submitted by Vince is 4 applications were received, 3 were approved, 1 was given a conditional approval, 1 was tabled waiting on more information. There were 0 extensions, there were 10 violation letters sent out by mail, and there were 2 unit inspections. 1 is pending and the other was tabled. And that's it. We don't have a preservation report, however, there's a new chair. Do we have a report? Okay, preservation, please. Our new chairperson.
Thank you. We didn't have any completed projects this month. We are working with the water issues. We've identified the problem, which we believe to be the problem. One is the gutters need to be extended down and out away from the foundation so the water's not dumping right there where it's entering the building. The other is that we're working with Tim Ward and maintenance and trying to get everybody together to agree on how to landscape that so the water actually goes away from the building rather than into those 2 pits which under. We had an extensive amount of water into that area from this last rain. Of course, it was a lifetime event, but still, it would be better if we could get a minimum amount of water into there. We're working on the service club. The Heritage Commission's inspection report was read. We're putting together an RFP to get those repairs, which are going to be pretty extensive because of the type of water damage to the siding and painting, most if not all of the building, and a little bit of stonework. The theater marquee was damaged by a truck. We don't know who it was. H&K has looked at it and they believe they would have to be taken down to repair. We're going to contact a sign company and try to get them to come out here and tell us that they could take the paneling off and do it while it's still up there, which should be more economical. We've been in contact with Jim Rocky, and we're looking at installing or replacing the door that was up on the butcher block so that we can close and lock that building so that we don't have people running in there. There's no reason for anybody to be in there, and right now it's just an open door. So, all right.
What was the damage from the flooding that you mentioned, the siding?
That wasn't damaged from the, I got the service club has rot from over years, water getting infiltrating. And it's pretty extensive because you can't just take a board. A lot of times you have to take a whole section out if you're going to make it look right. And then the painting is peeling. They identified some stuff. A window that needs to be replaced, yes, and underneath the eaves. So that would have to be pressure washed and repainted. So we're putting together a pricing for that.
So, when you say that, because I know you have extensive knowledge in this, I'm thinking for the future, because we've been talking about budget a lot. Would you consider this something, the paint and the siding repair, something we should probably be considering trying to figure out how to get that done next year, next fiscal year?
I don't think you have that long because you're red. If you were yellow or one of the
I
other,
understand what you're saying.
it's they're saying you're
I got you.
in danger of losing your certification if you don't get this repaired before the next inspection. Actually,
And
that's my understanding.
when is
Yeah,
the next
it is.
inspection?
That I do not know.
I believe, when did they come out and inspect?
I think it's January,
Yeah, January.
around January,
So
sometime in that timeframe.
just because of the amount of repairs and the thing that's going to take to get the numbers together, we're going to be pushing the limit.
And then, just because you've seen it, and you have extensive knowledge in this, what would be your just general idea of ballparking it?
Between
Of cost.
$15,000 and $20,000, I'm guessing.
Thank you, Mr. Allred.
Yes, sir.
I have the recycle center report here. I'll just read it. We need help once a month, Thursday, 4 to 6. Please contact the office if you'd like to help us. Thank you, Elena. We do not have a golf report unless there's
No,
somebody.
they've been busy with the trees and the floods and,
Similarly, do we have a community council report? No? Right.
they didn't even meet this week, so, no, we do not. We tried.
All right. We have an email vote. We had attorney response, sorry, regarding petition. It was unanimous.
Can you speak up a little bit, please, sir?
Yes. Is this better?
Yes.
There was an email vote, attorney response regarding the petition. It was unanimous. So once again, we have a sign-up sheet if you'd like to speak on agenda items. That does not prohibit you from speaking. It is more for the record, for the minutes, that we can gather comments. Should be in the back. So on to unfinished business. One of our favorite unfinished business topics, the amended budget for 2025, to be clear.
Yes,
Okay,
which is almost gonna be the next one, ready?
yes. Would you like to?
Do you want me to read it? Do you wanna see the Excel up there?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, do you wanna? Okay. I'm gonna read the budget amendment report of what we had to, or what we're asking for the changes to be. And I believe you all have that information. So
The report presents requested amendments to the Fort Clark Springs Association 2026 operating budget. The amendments reflect unanticipated utility rate increases, contractor and vendor support, necessary equipment purchases, and emergency repairs that arose after the original budget was adopted. The requested expense amendment totals $79,345.76. Collection revenues exceeded the year-to-date budget by $144,065, and providing sufficient funding for the amendments resulting in a net favorable budget impact of $64,719.24. Now, if anybody wants a copy of this, I can give you a copy of this so you can read the whole breakdown. I just didn't want to make copies and then they just sit up there and waste paper. Okay. The purpose of this agenda item is to obtain formal board approval for the 2026 budget amendments detailed in this report and to document the source of funding for additional expenditures. So John, if you want to scroll through it, you can scroll through that if you want to on the.
What?
Oh, if you wanted to scroll through that, you can.
Oh,
If you're okay, I didn't know if you wanted to. Okay.
He's driving.
Or you could drive too.
Okay, so, do you wanna walk through it, or do you wanna read do you wanna?
I'm just gonna read it first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially because we can't see it from here anyway.
Yeah.
Well, at least I can see.
We're starting with the mud increases, right?
Okay.
You have this in there.
Yeah. So mud rate increases. So administration water is going to be $7,170 more than what we budgeted for. Maintenance water is going to be $315 more than what we budgeted. Golf course water is going to be $2,435 more.
Why don't we just pull up your report?
Oh,
instead of
okay,
just
we
the
could
whole
do
budget?
that. It's on there. If you open that back up.
So she's reading a report, but you see the red line items in the budget. They match the report, but at least we can put the report where you can see it. But it's a summary.
You can see that.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. I'll scroll it.
Even I can see that.
Okay. Okay, so we are on right here, okay? So this is all the amount that it
Mike?
is. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, so these are the total amounts, additional cost that it's gonna cost us because of that 71% increase. And so the motel water, or I should go back, Creekside, it's gonna be $1,246 more. Motel, $2,053 more. Security water, $267 more. And the RV park, $3,616 more. Yes, sir.
When we were doing the budget the other day in the meeting, I had a question about the Creekside Pro Shop. The budget was like $10,000. I'm sorry. The budget for the water on the Creekside Pro Shop was like $10,000 or $11,000, and I thought that was an odd number. But then you go to Pro Shop Water here, and like this is an amendment of an increase of $1,246. Why does the Creekside Pro Shop use that much water? It's just this little bitty building. I can't make sense of that.
I would have to look at the budget again.
I mean, for instance,
Yeah.
wherever we average in the RV park 30 to 50 people, and they use, the increase there is only 3,616. Does that kind of make sense? Like
Yeah, it does.
It's only got a few sinks and a couple bathrooms. So how does it use $11,000 or $12,000 a year in water?
It could have had some of the maintenance for the golf course when we did use some water that we paid for, along with our gray water as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But in the budget, it also had like, I think, $30,000 for electrical on the golf side, which I figured was the fluid flow.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had a quick
But I could
question.
look at it too, because you have to understand, we did fix a lot of GL codes too. So in case one could be misplaced for the water, which it may have, I will relook at that when I'm redoing it for us to
Okay.
approve.
Just seeing if you had a quick answer.
No, sorry. Okay. All right, so our sewer rates also went up as well. For April, when the revised is 2018 more, May is gonna be 2024 more, and June is $2,648 more.
Is it more or it says increase 379? That's just the
Yeah,
total. The total.
Well, the total, these are the totals, this is the increase, and this is the original, right there, yeah. And the same with this. Here's the original, this is the increase, and the revised budget is 349, and then for August, 286, and then for September, 732. So you can see, here's what we originally budgeted, so you can see what the increase is, which on the water it was quite a lot. It was like almost $17,000 increase. That's quite a bit. Well, there you go, right there. $17,064 increase for water and sewer altogether. Vendor services for February through July is $1,200, which is $7,200. These were the two positions that we put on after we already made the budget. It was for the infrastructure compliance manager, and then it was for our website, and just multiple stuff. Taking meeting notes, putting out the meetings, doing the agendas for us. And so that, in August through September, we increased it a few hundred because that vendor has been doing some extra work. And so all the stuff that you see online, all the dispatches that you see, everything, and everybody knows I can say Annabelle, right? It's Annabelle McNew.
We're going over the 2025 amendments.
This is it. They were in there. We haven't approved it yet. Yeah, I'm just putting everything in there. All right, so the equipment and purchases. Bulldozer was $25,000, which we took out of operations. The backhoe repair was $6,497.76. That came out of operations. And then the security, I put this in here because that was an additional that we bought for the security as we purchased a used gas golf cart for them to be able to do their rounds on the fort, which comes out to $33,797.76. And then our financial impact, so the total expenses altogether, $79,345.76. Additional collections revenue is $144,065. Net favorable budget impact is $64,719.24. So overall, the $64,719 net favorable budget impact shown above represents the favorable impact of the amendment package. It is not the association's final bottom line. After incorporating the proposed amendments, the 2026 budget reflects total gross income of $2,602,115.88. Total expenses, $2,445.86.58, and a favorable estimated net operating income of $157,029.30. The association's collection performance provided sufficient revenue to fund the necessary amendments while maintaining a favorable overall budget. And here is that breakdown right here. Budgeted collections, I budgeted $66,000 up to June. Actual collections was $210,665. Additional revenue above the budget was $144,065. So, performance measures. So we brought in 316% over budget for collections, which my staff has worked so hard to get. And then revenue above budget is 216.31. Now, in this, the only things that you're looking at of what I budgeted is the changes and amendments. I have not compared that to the profit and loss for other expenditures. So this is just for the amendments only. So when I do compare that to our profit and loss, we'll see how we came in to the budget. I recommend that the Board of Directors approve the 2026 budget amendments as presented. The requested amendments address operational needs that arose after budget adoption, including utility rates, contract staffing, vendor support, equipment purchases, and emergency repairs. The association has generated collection revenue significantly above budget, providing sufficient funding to absorb these amendments while maintaining a favorable overall budget position. And that's it. Anybody have any questions?
I just
Yes,
have
sir.
a question regarding the collections of overdue accounts.
Yes, sir.
That's a remarkable number, by the way. Do we know what amount of money, I'm sure we do, is currently owed by people who are not paying their dues?
Yes, we do.
What is that
It's
number?
over $400,000.
400,000. Thank you.
Yes.
I think you have.
What actions can we take to make these people pay their bills?
Well-
I deal the one in.
No, I understand. So here's what we're doing. We have, I believe, 38 liens that we're proposing to foreclose on. So that's one. Two, we are working on with somebody who wants to make a deal. The other ones we're going to work on. Our goal is to collect 200,000 more, and then to foreclose on the rest. We have almost 100 liens on the people that aren't paying. So if they don't pay, then we're going to wind up foreclosing on them, of course, but the board has to approve that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the rule is in Texas regarding foreclosing and taking someone's property in association. I don't know precisely. I understand it's pretty hard to do. But when you say somebody wants to make a deal, which indicates to me that it's a sizable amount of money and they want to break, I don't see any reason to give anybody a break on the dues. We've never had a break.
No, I totally agree with you.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Have we, I know last year we implemented the special assessment. We have people that have not paid the special assessment. Have we commenced the liens on those properties?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think other good information that they might be interested in, Carl, would be that, correct me if I'm wrong, 22% of people are not paying their dues essentially. Which just completely rough numbers, but that costs each member about $25 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
well,
each individual member, yes.
yeah, so about, if we do a 5% increase, and that's $5,
Right.
you know, and then you do 22%, it's significant, right? I mean, it's, if your dues are 105, 22% of that, we're having to make that up somewhere else, you know, so it's something we need to really continue to focus on. They've gotten a really good start this year, but we definitely need to keep pursuing it.
And each one is a special case. Like some of these are abandoned mobile homes that are unlivable. So we may go, oh, this person owes us $15,000 and the thing needs to be demolished and lot value is all that can be done. And some of them are people with $150,000, $200,000 homes, which ought to be able to get the money from them easily enough, or at least put the lien on and then ultimately someone will get it when they sell it or whatever happens. But there's a big problem with mobile homes that are toast, you know, that's a whole nother issue to deal with.
Another thing that I know Charlene and Jason worked really hard on is that because they have, you know, very accurate numbers of what we're bringing in and who's not paying and everything's, you know, pretty organized, you're able to see, you're just able to see it in a much better light. So hopefully moving forward, you know, we need to we really need to engage an attorney, or maybe kind of offer a deal to an attorney and say, look, we're gonna give you 50 cases, make us a deal, and really start pursuing these and seeing if we can get some of this money back.
When an individual habitually doesn't pay their dues, let's say they've abandoned the property, and they haven't paid, they're not paying their taxes, etc. Who has priority over the property? The tax collector or the board?
Yeah, so basically, analysis that I provided to Charlena, I pulled all the CAD data and the values of all the properties and how much taxes they owe and how much they owe us and so on. It's fairly detailed. And then you can see which one of these are favorable for us to get back.
I see.
But you can't just rely on what CAD says, because it may say, oh, that mobile home's worth $40,000, and you go and look at it and half the roof's collapsed and the whole thing's ruined. So you actually have to do a one-by-one like inspection, maybe not the inside, but go by and then go, okay, so, but, you know, especially in my unit, there's a dozen or so. There's 76 lots. I bet you there's a dozen abandoned that are past their life expectancy 100%. So who has to deal with that? You know, even if we foreclose them, then who's going to pull them off? You know, and who's going to deal with that? And then the association could sell the lot for $3,000, but we had to move the trailer, you know, but ultimately that's a burden to everybody that lives there. It's driving down everybody's property values, and it's a long-term thing that's going to have to be, you know, dealt with in some
I guess
way.
my final question would be is, once we foreclose on a property and take possession of it, then obviously the maintenance of that property falls to the fort.
Yes,
How about the taxes?
that too.
We also have to pay the property taxes on it, correct?
Yes, which is pretty small on abandoned mobile homes. I'm honestly, like, we could easily go to the county and say, this is unlivable. Your estimate of value is 40,000. No, the lot's worth $3-4 grand, best case scenario. And there's no way anyone will ever be able to repair this economically. So, you know, get it now.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate the sidebar, but I want to remind people we're trying to get through the amended budget 2025 here. And these yeah, we're a little off topic, so let's get through this item. So
I'll make a motion to approve the amended report as presented to us today.
a second. All in favor?
We've beaten the dead horse to death.
Finally close this chapter.
We can take it off.
I just have one question, because one of the members asked me about it. Since we were approving this budget and we're on schedule this year, will the new, if we do the CPI, will everything, they pay yearly, they pay by the year. And what she's telling me is that if we don't have it in our, everything into building, by the time she comes in to pay her yearly deal, and we do it after the fact, then at the end of the year, she ends up owing money because it wasn't in Buildium at the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so like the past years, we never got the budget cleared. We never made the thing on time. We didn't notice the membership in a proper amount of time. So the first couple of months, we didn't really have the number. So what you're saying, if someone comes in on October 1st and wants to pay their entire year up, we have to have already approved the amount and adjusted the rates for that to be reflected. Otherwise, they'll be short of their amount.
At the end of the year, she said she wants to know, and I told her I thought we would have it ready this year.
Well,
Okay, so that is
Yes.
the budget workshop,
Okay.
which is on the agenda. So
Okay, she just asked, they just asked the question, and I was just saying, since we're on schedule this year, hopefully we can get everything on schedule to where if she comes in October the 1st this year, she will not have the same situation at the end of the year.
That's the whole plan.
Yep. Okay.
August,
Thanks, Memo.
So on to item number 2, the annual audit. How are we looking?
I think we're looking really good. Tamil, did some things that the auditor gave them that he needed to fix. And so we have a meeting with them next week. I don't remember if he sent the invite or not, but I asked and they said okay. So once they do that, we'll have that meeting and then they'll let us know whether or not we have anything left to do. I suspect it to be no later than, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, and we should be done and have the audit.
In that regard, I'm gonna motion to table the subject for our next meeting.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right.
What was the date?
That's memo.
I'll just second.
The date of what?
I thought I heard a date.
Sure.
No.
Charlena said, Ms. Cavender said 2 to 3 weeks.
It could be much sooner, but we have to
So-
talk to them.
all right.
We are so close, very close.
Yes. So, on to our next topic, which, well, actually, Ms. Cavender addressed this before session, the dispatch social media policy. We do not have one for the meeting, so.
Yes, we would like to table it, yes.
So, motion to table dispatch social media policy.
Second.
All in favor? All right, on to Dickman Hall HVAC. Do we have our revised quotes?
They should be uploaded in your folders,
Right.
yes. There is only one change on one, the rest stayed the same, because it was the same amount of HVACs of the other person. So there's
Has it been confirmed that so one of the requests of this one was that to be sure the bid was thorough and complete, included all connections, repairs, duct, etc., for the system to be complete, so we don't have unexpected expenses for beyond, what the quote, because we had approved the quote already.
Yes.
And then it jumped up substantially. So I've got a number of them here.
Mr. Reyes, or?
Yeah, I just want to be sure I'm looking at the correct quote. This is from June 16th, 2026?
For 42?
No.
Then she didn't upload the most updated one. I know, I sent it to you, Joe, and
Yeah,
copied everybody.
I sent everybody the summary and the bids, the last bids, where they went from a 5 and a 3 to a 5, 3 and 3. So.
Okay, so we've got 3 bids here.
Yes.
We've got the Reyes revised bid, which is a 5 and 2 3s at $44,500. Well, this is in the spreadsheet, so if you're telling me the spreadsheet's wrong.
Oh, yeah, the spreadsheet's wrong.
Okay, so. And this Reyes quote says 44. I have the full here. I'm just trying to make sure they're. All right. How about we'll go through this since you have the quote available. The Reyes revised bid is how much?
42,000.
Okay. I'm just changing the spreadsheet.
What changed between the $44,000 quote and the $42,000 quote?
So I had asked him if. So with the, when we put out the RFP for the 90 ACs, and we also put it out in the paper as well, I had mentioned to him, I said, if you were to get this, would you reduce your amount on the bid? And so he said he would reduce it to 42,000.
So we gave one of the 3 vendors an opportunity to reduce the bid, but did not give any other vendors a chance to reduce their bids?
Their bids were already lower than that still.
Is that typically a fair process?
I do believe that being a HOA, that I guess you could ask them to rebid, Is it gonna come down to below 39,000? But typically, to my understanding, as a privately owned HOA, we don't have to follow the rules of a military bidding process. Now, we do that because we give people the opportunity to, but at the end of the day, it's up to us if we wanted to do one bid or two bid or three bids.
Only if it's under $50,000. State law says anything over $50,000, the association technically has to have established policy for bidding.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have Reyes' bid for 42,000, a relatively comparable bid from Rio Grande for 38,689. Although I say relative, it's a different brand.
yeah, I think this is 39.
Yeah, and then we have 24/7 with a bid at 39, and so really one's 6 ton and 2 3 tons Rudd, the other one's a 5 ton and 2 3 tons Rudd, and they're within $3,000 of each other. The Reyes versus 24/7. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But I guess the tonnage on there is incorrect for Reyes's. It should be found a 4 and a 3.
Okay, so equivalent
Bid for
tonnage then,
42.
they're identical tonnage.
Yeah.
Bids within $3,000 of each other, which is roughly 10%, a little under. Do we have other directors to comment on our bids here? I mean,
Aaron, question,
yes.
we're gonna omit the last vote and redo the whole vote again?
The last vote stipulated that that we had already agreed to proceed, but the price, that was as long as the price was within the relative range of the quote, which was 34, and the bid jumped up $10,000, which was not considered close, relatively close to proceed with that much of an increase. So that's why we have the numbers before us again. And what that has done is it took the low bid, turned it into the highest bid, but they're all within $3,000 of each other. And they're also now all the tonnage is all relatively, it's all ironed out that the tonnage is equivalent to each other, and we're not bidding an 8-ton versus a 11-ton setup, correct?
Yes, that approval is based on the fact that the tonnages between the three bids varied too much. And we were asked to go back to them and say, are you comfortable after reviewing the building and your bid that tonnage is sufficient? And both of the two low contractors said that they weren't and added additional cost to their proposal.
So all three bids increased the tonnage then?
No,
Just
Rio Grande
just
has
the
already
one.
had tonnage which properly represented what should be installed. The other two had only bid a 5 and a 3.
I see. So two bids. We've got two revised. I
Yes.
see it now.
Okay.
We have two revised bids, and then the one from Rio Grande remains the same.
Yes.
So now the bids are apples to apples,
Yes, sir.
and cover what the full needs, not partial need of.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Mr. Lorch, were you the one that primarily worked with these bids and
Everybody except Reyes. I walked the job site with him and what we had, but I didn't have anything to do with his bidding.
Okay, do you have any recommendation?
I do not. The two low bids seem to be equally qualified. They both bid the same equipment, and so
But didn't the one bid only have 2 ACs in it?
both of them
No,
only had
but-
2 ACs initially, and they
Oh.
both added an additional 3 ton.
Okay. That I didn't see that yet. Okay.
So, you did mention that the last time that the only one that gave you a thorough look was Reyes, correct?
Yes, his is a little more business-like. But if you look at 24/7, it takes a little while to work through the detail because it's handwritten, but all of the information there, and the last thing he says is this is turnkey.
Would any other directors like to put in their 2 cents for the selection of the bid?
Yeah, I just wanna mention one more thing, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Reyes has been more consistent in helping us and being consistent and available to Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, Sharon. I know it went up a little bit, it went up, but I think we need to go, I feel more comfortable with him based on his record with us in the last year and a half. Based on his overall, very good response, customer service, consistent, no excuses. To the best of my knowledge, always available when short called.
Would any other directors like to speak for or against?
Has the low bidder ever done any work for us so that we would have a comparison?
24/7, I know them.
Have they worked for us?
Not us, but I know them.
What's your opinion?
People, you know,
Yes, please. Ms. Cowan.
So
Not
our,
how about your recommendation overall, rather than like specifically hammering one?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
I don't want to do that.
Right, so just, please.
My recommendation, and I want the board to choose who they feel is the most. My recommendation is Mr. Reyes, and I will tell you why. He's done work for me before, and I'll give you an example. The our building right here, right? You know, there's that, right when you come from Dickman, there's an AC out there. So they had put a mini split in our office there because they said they couldn't fix that AC out there. And that mini split broke down. I called Mr. Reyes. He came up. It was just the compressor that needed to be changed out. That was it. And he fixed it. He didn't even charge me a travel charge. I had to tell him he had to do that because he wasn't going to make money if he kept traveling. He's a hometown gentleman. His family's commercial and residential. Every time I call him, he picks up the phone, and I just think he will give us the best service because he's been very good to me and comes up every time I ask him. I've heard just different things about the other two, and I've lived in Del Rio for 38 years, so
Is that the repair of the package unit that's in the back? Yeah. And was that like $400 and something?
Yeah.
That's more like replacing a capacitor. Like there's no way you're going to get a compressor
Or maybe capacitor.
something small like that. So he did a reasonable small fix, not a $2,000-3,000 compressor swap.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have any justification that we need if you don't take the low bid? If we don't take the low bid, do we need it to have some justification?
Not to my
for going
knowledge.
with a higher bid. I know I've worked contracts for many years, and we would have soul search. You know, if you're going to just use a sole person, you had to have justification for doing that. Should we have something on the record if we do not take the low bid to justify not taking the low bid? That's all.
I'm not familiar with that.
Well, I mean, we're not under the same scrutiny as a commercial entity for bids. And right now, the question is just, is there a preference both from Mr. Ulrich, who's done a bunch of the legwork here, from Ms. Callender, who's going to have to continue to deal with the contractor, and then from any director that wants to say anything, and then we can decide whether, you know, right now it sounds like there's been support for choosing the Reyes bid at the price that was set. Do we have any for or against any of these bids? Anyone else? Directors?
No, I think we just need to get it done because we've got people booking Dickman Hall.
100%.
We've got one coming up, I think today.
Yes,
that-
58th anniversary.
That they've brought in some swamp coolers, but basically so that they could have it. And it's just something that needs to get done quickly so that we can start taking in revenue.
Do these bids include all new electrical wiring? When you tear into the walls, you can't tell me the wiring that is existing now for the HVAC unit will service a new unit.
So when Mr. Ulrich mentioned the word turnkey, the system I would assume is inspected top to bottom from both its electrical connection and installation and roof repair, all the things. That was what the request was per the last meeting, to make sure we weren't going to get additional expenses, like if the electrical connections were inadequate or dangerous. This is part of the expectation of a full turnkey commercial air conditioning installation. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ulrich.
It is correct.
Okay.
The wiring was put in many years later, so it's not the same wire as when the building was built. So it's the upgraded electrical connections. Newer units draw less electricity than those older units, so obviously the wire is going to be sufficient to handle these units.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick. I would think with the small difference in $3,000 is quite small, that you would look at the reputation of each of the three contractors, and then add in our experience with the individual contractors. And even if it's the highest bidder, I would be more comfortable going with someone that I knew who has a good reputation with us and has demonstrated a good quality of work. $3,000 is nothing.
Thank you. I agree.
I also agree with that.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I don't know, I've seen, several times here the trucks that come in from Del Rio with service now.
They didn't want to do commercial work.
Okay, because we had a bad experience with them years ago. We bought this old, beautiful home.
They're not even in the list of bids.
Good. And we paid them because I told them I wanted the house rewired, because it was an old house, but it was a beautiful house that we still own. And I told them I wanted completely rewired, because my husband took some of those little things off the extension cord, and we saw that they were all old and they were all dusted and everything. We paid them, they came, the whole crew came. They had the wires, the big wires, and they stayed there, I don't know how many days. We got out. And according to them, it was rewired.
We will be sure to take your
Don't
advice and
hire them.
proceed with them. Thank you.
Because my husband checked those and they hadn't done anything.
Thank you.
So I went to the office and I spoke to the owner and I told him. And he said, no, I said, okay, I want my money back. He wrote me a $10,000 check there. I said, because I have an attorney already. I didn't, but I told him that. And he paid me back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you all need to be very careful. And I see those trucks here all the time and I worry about that.
Yeah, they do not do commercial work, and they were asked if they wanted to bid, and they said they did not.
Good.
Because they do not do commercial work, only residential.
Wonderful. Good.
All right. Mr. Herman.
Just a question, this bid is to upgrade everything to what it should be, is that correct?
To replace 3 AC units and whatever's necessary to have those full.
Okay,
full
so some of that stuff is guaranteed by the RUD, is it RUD that you're using?
Yeah,
What-
if we
In other
choose
words, so
RUD,
a
two
lot
of
of
the
say
bids are RUD.
the compressors are guaranteed for 10 years. Anyway, but what about, is this including an annual maintenance check?
No, this is, as my understanding, this is just the cost of installation. So like any of our other equipment and our other maintenance contracts, that's separate, but that's another conversation.
No, okay, yeah, that's what I was just curious about, yeah.
All right, well, this is round 2, so I'm ready to proceed. If anyone else has anything to say about this.
And are we proposing to pay this out of the restricted fund or the operational fund or some combination of such?
I mean, I would be fine with this coming out of the restricted fund. This is the most clear-cut example of a capital expense that you can find, and it's kind of what that fund is specifically supposed to be for. And as you reported, the fund can handle the expense. Correct?
There are funds there, yes.
All right. Without being detrimental to.
I don't believe so.
Thank you. All right. So per the recommendation of the people involved, Charlena, Ms. Cavender, I'm sorry, Mr. Ulrich, and others, I would motion that we accept the Reyes bid as it is at $42,000 turnkey, and that the expense comes out of our restricted fund. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That's a 4-1 vote, passes. Thank you.
And they can get these ordered and start on these immediately.
Yeah, I'll talk to them right away on Monday.
Chair, was that unanimous?
That was a 4-1 vote, 4, 1 opposed.
Did you get my vote?
Yes. You're one of the 4. All right. On to the next item, the Comptroller search.
We're
Ms. Cav-
still working on that. Sorry.
We're still working on that. I had I had scheduled interviews, but they unfortunately didn't show up. But I did get a resume here yesterday that I will be reaching out to.
Okay, motion to table Comptroller search.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Aye.
Thank you. Landscape contractor. So this one,
It's going into executive session, right?
parts of it are, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, in that regard, the open topic, I guess we can table until we talk about it in executive session,
Okay.
right?
What?
The land,
On this contract, it's over $50,000. Do we need to have 2 more bids? Or are we just gonna take one bid and?
I think we need to consider multiple options, right, John?
I think we've had more than 2 bids.
Yeah, I've sent in the ones that we had prior.
Yeah, historically, we had the other bids that we got when we did DLP, and they were like well over 200 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just saying.
And besides, it's
I'm just
a
asking,
monthly
I wanna
deal
stay
with a
with the
30-day
rules.
out, so it's not like we commit to the full amount anyways. Like we can cancel in 3 months from now, assuming we are not happy.
Would you like him to say hello?
Oh, yes, please.
I think, yeah,
I'm fine.
I do have some questions if you.
Go ahead.
have to-
Absolutely.
Do you have something prepared already, or?
I don't. I think you have the map. The other map's in my truck that
Yeah, I have
of
a map.
the Moses.
It's in the packet.
Yeah, you wanna put the map up there? I
Um,
think that this,
You'll have to put the map up there, Aaron, because I don't have my laptop with me.
yeah, I think Aaron probably did.
It should be in,
It's in the packet.
yeah, it's in your
I'm talking about on
in your board packet. It
No.
should be under unfinished. Oh, I'm sorry.
on this.
Oh, on the yellow, oh, ooh. I don't know how you would get to it for you.
Just log into your email and show us your, password.
Yeah. All right. It's just a map. We're just talking about a map here.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, sorry.
All right.
I have it on my phone.
All right.
Okay, I've spoken a little bit with the board and Char about this. My concerns would be just as much for you as for us, because, you know, DLP's caught a lot of heat, right? And I think even if DLP came in here and made everything beautiful, they would still catch a lot of heat, right? They made it all perfect. So I think just as much for the association's sake, but also you're a human being and you're probably gonna get, exposed to stuff that you didn't expect. just want you to be aware of that, you know, putting your name in the hat like this and being a member and living here.
Right.
I mean, do you understand the full scope
I'm
of?
well aware of that.
Okay. I read through your, well, it might not be your proposal, this is what you sent us.
I did, yes, I sent that.
This is what you're requesting of him as far as responsibilities
Right.
for the growing season and various scope of work? Okay. So I just want to compare apples to apples here. So you have in here, let's see, like required services in the growing season: mowing, trimming, edging, weed control, tree maintenance, debris removal, and ditch maintenance. Now that's overlapping a little bit with maintenance because you have debris removal. So can you just talk through these items? Mowing, we all understand that. Trimming, let's talk through that. Edging, we understand what that is. My three would be mowing, weed control, and tree maintenance and debris removal, because these are significant things that obviously, as you know, they take a lot of time. So can you just walk us through what you envision that to be?
A lot of the tree removal and trimming can be like where I can't get my tractors underneath because the limbs are hanging so low. They need to be trimmed up.
Okay.
Anything like that. I mean, even on the zero turn, you don't want to be ducking the trees and trying to mow and stuff.
So when you're referencing tree maintenance, you're referencing making the areas as mowable as possible with the equipment
Correct.
you intend to use.
Correct.
Okay. Weed control, but you also reference remedy and mesquite control in here. Is that part of the weed control? Is that part of the weed control?
Yeah, like on the par 3, because if they're gonna be running over like mesquite and stuff like that, getting flat tires, it'd be much easier for them just to spray all that with remedy, and then any other areas that he's gonna be mowing at, to spray that, so it would be beneficial for his equipment.
I agree, but are you're okay with this? You understand this? You're okay
Indeed.
with that process? And then obviously this can only be done in the summertime. Can't be done in the winter. The soil temperature can't be below, I think, 65 degrees
Correct.
or something like that. Okay. And then debris removal. Well, our maintenance does a lot of that. So talk to me about what that debris removal is.
I mean, again, clearing everything out where I'm mowing.
Okay. You're just
So
talking
I'm not
about
running over branches and sticks.
anything
I'm
that
mowing around them
interferes
like
with
the
what
LP
you're doing.
did.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all the questions I have. Fence line maintenance was another one. Can we expand on that? What is that referring to?
Well, it's just so the weeds aren't growing up like this, that's another area that you could spray for weed control, and that would be along the outside of our, the fort, along the fence.
From the front.
But that's
along
not
the front.
That's not on the map clearly. You see what I'm getting at here?
Mm-hmm.
If I can start poking holes in this, I want you and us to be able, because you're a member, we represent you. I want you and us to be able to not have any miscommunication, because if we do, you're going to walk out there and the sharks are going to eat you, right? So if I would prefer for this to be as crystal clear as it could possibly be before we consider its value and whether or not we can proceed with it, because I don't want there to be a miscommunication between y'all, and it's like, well, I said fence removal, it's right here, fence line maintenance, it's right here, but then we already have members complain. It just, you know how it is.
I do.
For example, in Unit 3 where I live, there's minimum of 3 green spaces that aren't marked on there. And those are just the 3 that I paid attention to because they're close to my places. So I'm assuming there's plenty of green spaces that are not marked on that list of things. So, I think we need to investigate a little bit further, like which areas are going to be under your control or your responsibility.
Yeah, they should be on that map.
Yeah, he worked with
I drove
Philip
around
on
with
it.
maintenance and they marked the ones in the back.
They're not. Like I can, if we pulled up the Unit 3 map, I can point you to 3 like lot size areas that are green space, not owned by the fort. They're part of the green area that the fort is supposed to maintain, but they're not marked on there. Like some of the green space in there is marked, but there's at least 3 lot size or larger areas that are dispersed through there that are not marked. So I'm assuming there's other areas that will also be similarly not marked.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just need to iron some of it out, right? I do not want, this is not an accusation against DLP of any kind. communication is really hard, especially when you're talking about a broad system like this. So I do not want the same thing to happen that's happened with DOP, where there's been miscommunication. There may not have been any intent behind any of it, right? We don't know that, but you've been held accountable to that. They've been held accountable to that. We need to figure out how to not have that happen, especially with a member that then has to reside in the neighborhood and, you know, wake up and his neighbors are giving him the middle finger or something. We don't want that to happen. So, you know, I would like to prevent that.
Okay, so what are you proposing then?
I think we gotta sit down and we have to go over the map.
Then we need to do that
Yeah.
quickly, because we don't have
I know, I drove around a
landscaper.
little bit this morning.
Yeah.
I've got the full-size map in my truck if y'all want
Yes,
to
Okay.
go over that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be great.
Well,
He could bring it in executive session.
well, no, let's do it
Oh,
here
yeah,
now.
bring it. Yeah.
Can I ask
So-
a question?
yes.
And it's just me personally. I've always maintained the green spaces around my house because I like it to look nice. And I also bring a
You
contractor
gonna
in.
send us a bill?
Once a year I bring a trimming contractor in to trim the trees around the power lines, it says behind, because I don't want the electric company to come in and whack them all down, you know? So is there a law, or is there any prohibition against me doing that?
So,
No.
no, here's the thing though, and this is coming, I've certainly.
About liabilities and things like that?
No,
I don't know.
I've certainly walked around Unit 1 with a chainsaw, like clearing up brush
Yeah.
along the creek and stuff. And I can say that the issue, and not liability wise, but the issue with the members taking on the task becomes, and this happened last time we had Mr. Gilby cutting trees, etc., is to what extent what are commonly owned trees get trimmed, where they get trimmed, what that constitutes can be a hot topic of debate. But part of it, for me personally, I've had members report to the association that they're trimming a tree and have cut trees down in Unit 1 entirely. So the issue becomes not so much about can you do it, you know, when you're doing it right. It's about those who are not doing it right, who are misleading what they're actually doing if they think a tree is a nuisance and they want to.
Well, I have a professional guy come in and do
Right.
it. He always does a great job, but I have one of them. Everybody hates mesquite trees, but I have two of the most beautiful mesquite trees you've ever seen in your life in the common ground behind my house, and I really want to keep them. You know, I don't want to destroy them. So that's why I cut all that property back there, and I maintained the ditch and the thing beside my house, etc. I just wondered, is there any prohibition against me doing that?
There's not that I'm aware of.
No, and I think it has been the case that some people do maintain the areas around their place because they don't want it to look like hell. But should the association rely on the fact that someone's gonna do their work for them?
Well, you
It's
don't have
nice
to
that
rely.
they do, but, you know, we should have, like, someone is responsible, assuming you sell your house and don't do it, someone should do it.
That's a different situation.
I refrain from a lecture on how to roll up drawings.
Jack, if you ever done that by my house, you won't have any deal with me.
Just can't stand it, can you?
It happens so often.
Do you want a couple of water bottles to take the weight on that? You want a couple of water bottles to take the weight on it?
I got it.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna hit him over the head with this, I was gonna.
I don't know about that, John.
Here we go.
Okay, so what are the yellow lines on here?
The yellow lines is.
I mean, I would assume that's
The
just
edges and
ditches.
scales.
It's just the ditches though?
The ditches and scales.
Alright, Jason.
I know there's no tree work here, there's probably no tree work there. Okay, driving range, what's this, what's the blue here?
The golf course is.
Okay, I just want to know, it's noted, so I just want to make sure. And then you're mowing all, this is all Red Bridge, so what's your intentions there?
Mowing and tree trimming.
The entire area? That's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit.
Yeah, I spent
Done.
days over there picking out dead trees with our equipment, it was, oh my God, it was a lot. trees in there, a lot of that stuff falls down.
A lot of it's gotta be cleared, all of that's picked up now,
Yeah.
except for what came back down, but I just picked all of it.
Jason, where are you talking about back in here?
One of these
You're
lots
saying
is
there's some
in
lots
between my house and Adam's property is a green space lot that no one's maintained. As a matter of fact, I cleaned it out and cut some trees out.
That's one of the ones that we got back years ago, but then we took
No one ever got it back. If you remember, I don't know if you remember, before I got on the board, I was starting to do some things, and that one is just, it's just said, the county says it's green. No one's ever lived there. It's not listed as one of our numbered lots. It's just happened to be a space in there. So there's one right in here. This right here is green. This right here is green. This area behind these, this area behind these is something to be dealt with. And I'm sure there's a few more in there that are just not marked on
Do
there.
you mind marking this one?
On
In the
your,
grand scheme of things, I mean, that's a little bitty.
No, it's not. I'm just saying
Yeah, I'd like to know.
there may be four.
Do you want me to get a marker?
I think,
Get a marker.
I think in order to get this right,
Oh, yeah.
it's probably gonna have to be kind of a living document, you know, it's gonna take a couple times
We're
to get
gonna
it just
find
right.
some that
Okay,
probably
if you
we don't
wanna
know
come
either.
through here, I can go around with you and say this one from this one. That'll be faster than, cause I can't really tell like
It's
which one,
confusing.
so there might be someone else's house and I marked, and you know, so we can go and look around that unit specifically. I'm just concerned if there's some in here, then we got 38 something units, then if each one has 2, 3, 4 that's not listed.
Yeah, and I'm not committing to just going that and nothing else. I know it's gonna be broader than
Yeah,
that.
well, but none of us would wanna be unreasonable, right?
Right.
We all have to be reasonable. Shar, you know, I don't drive around the Ford day in and day out, I know you don't either, maybe it's a better question for Jason, but, in your opinion, looking at this map and the coverage that's being presented here, how does this fare with what DOP was doing?
DLP wasn't doing any of the units, and that was.
Well, okay, we'll just break it down for
Well, how about what
percentage, so that we
DOP
can
was
assign
supposed to be
value to
doing?
what we're getting in the event that we sign the contract. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We were paying DOP how
10,000.
much? 10,000 a month, okay. So then, and they were doing what percentage of this?
Oh,
And I know they had been trimming trees and hauling off debris and all that other stuff, so what percentage? 50, 60, 80?
I'm gonna say, not even 50, I'm gonna say maybe 40.
Okay.
They
And
were,
you're-
most of the time, they only had one person or two
You're,
at
you're,
the most.
you're okay filling those shoes?
Absolutely.
I mean, here in 15, this is next to one of my properties not marked. I'm pretty sure that's green, so that's probably green. There's probably dozens of.
Jason, on your Buildium map, you have everything lined out on Buildium, what's what? On the
No, I don't have
computer?
maps in there. I do have where I've superimposed all our lots on top
Right,
of.
okay, all the
from
lots
CAD,
are,
CAD, ring data from CAD that lines out with all the properties
Okay.
and such, but it's not as good, like the CAD thing has 0 on a lot of things, cause it's
Mhm.
like, some of these don't even have a property ID,
Okay.
they're just lumped into some larger parcel
Right,
that's
okay,
considered.
I just didn't know I knew you had some kind of a map, and it's just
I
for
would
the,
really like to have someone go on Google Maps and draw polygons around the areas and you know square footage of each one, how many there was. It would actually be a reasonable, like it'll do the math for you, how many square acres of
Yeah, it'll
stuff is
break all that down,
mowed,
yeah.
and we would be able to do that. But that would require someone to open up Google Earth or Maps and, you know, draw a polygon around the rec center and around here. Each one of these would have to be marked out on there, but then we really could know like how many acres we're asking them to mow and maintain, and
Yeah.
which, break it down by unit and every other metric possible. And I think that would probably be something valuable.
Well, and I think
could you do that between like 2 and 4 in the morning or something like that on your computer?
I mean,
when you're bored?
Yeah,
I
when
think
you're
too,
bored.
that, you know, in, I'm sure you're aware, but in the last, 10 years, or it hasn't been that long, but we'll just say that their members have raised about $100,000 for the pool area. And, it is probably our most significant draw. And, I really think like that needs to have a priority. Like if we're behind schedule and we have a recreation center here area over, hey, let's go get the pool done, it needs to be, let's go get the pool done.
Oh, yeah,
Every
definitely,
single
that's,
time.
the pool's always like
That's
number one.
what
That's
sells
what
homes
everything's
here, that's what makes people wanna move here.
ultimately, I would like to see some of these listed as like, you know, units in building, not like units that we're gonna sell or own, but more like areas that can have work orders put against them and stuff, and have some.
Yeah, you're speaking of like, I know what you're saying,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
yeah, you know how that
So,
works, I don't know.
just like the budget has been something that we have worked on and changed, right?
Yeah.
To departments, you know, if Jack is willing, this is also something else that we would work on as well, because probably nobody's ever sat down and done that. So it could be a work in progress, just like our budget was, and we just continue to keep it, as Aaron said, a living thing, because we can go into each one separately, but not stop work because we have to do that, because we didn't stop doing a budget because we changed it, we still kept doing it and just kept enhancing on, right? So, would you agree that that would be the same thing for this as well?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, you gotta refine it, and there's gonna be a couple of, you know, iterations, but, I think for the membership too, this is a hard pill to swallow, because we don't, you know, like in the event that we sign a contract with you, we're making other choices of things that we can't do. But I think it's important to note that we used to have like 14 maintenance personnel.
Yeah, we used to.
And,
At once,
you know,
we used to have 23.
Yeah, we used to have like 6 or 8 people that did landscaping alone, and now we have nobody. You know, we don't have anybody to.
Do you have to buy equipment, Jack? I'm sorry to interrupt, but you have to purchase the equipment to do this.
Some of it, yes, some of it.
You need to think about that if you do an interim thing, because if he's gotta buy the equipment, he's gotta rely on the income from it to pay for it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I heard
mean,
$70,000 mower.
what are you gonna be
or
using,
something to that effect. If we, you know, a $70,000 mower that I saw in one of the emails that he was gonna purchase. So it will be fair to go in, and then after 30 days, we don't like it.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with a $70,000 mower, that's.
Correct.
Well, and I think that's why it's really important to get this right from the
Yeah,
beginning,
yes, I
and
agree.
have the best communication that we have, even if it seems, you know, redundant or over the top, because we can't have the same thing happen that we had happen with DOB, we can't, you know, so, and then you'll be using like 60, 72-inch motors, zero turn, stuff like that.
Yeah, 60, 72, it's a 15-foot mount.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the most good 72-inch motors are running $20,000 right now, so, you know, commercial grade, so.
Can I just interject a question? Is the old RV park?
It's on there, yeah.
Okay, what about you know where I live, off of Crockett? Well, I live between Crockett and Baylor, okay? Half of the lots, my lot in the back, from street to street, is Ford property. I maintain it, I'm not having a problem, I'm not complaining. But because it's Ford property, is it listed for him to have to take care of it?
I was gonna assume probably not.
So,
There's
yeah,
no
if you-
half lots on here that are cut, so.
Yeah, and if you see the map, there's lots of the back ends of property that open to obviously for property that are not part of the map.
Oh,
Because,
yeah, that's kind of, you know,
yeah,
But technically, you could sell your house and move, or whatever happens, and the new person could go, the Ford is not maintaining this deal. This 20 feet is not being mowed by, I'm not doing it, I'm paying my dues, you come over here and mow that.
right, it's a
That-
guy,
They can
right.
have that attitude.
Okay, since I've been there from 1980, maintenance has never cut the grass
Oh,
back
I know.
there.
I.
That's all, that's just the point whether he would, you know, all of a sudden you're sticking him with 3 street-wide properties,
Yeah.
then now he has to add to his contract, that's all I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I mean, members are certainly maintaining green spaces next to their places.
Right, I understand
and
that.
doing
I
that,
just
so,
went to the
but
bathroom.
do they have to? They don't, you know, they
Yeah,
keep
no,
complaining.
I think you just
Which,
went to the
well, I'm surprised at the amount of people that will just do things like.
No, I understand, but that's not the point. The point is that if what happened, let's say, my property and the property behind me, which is Ford property,
Yeah.
I'm maintaining it, cut the grass, you know, maintain it, landscape, whatever. If I was moved and the guy who buys it goes, it's not mine, I don't have to touch it, it's not on his contract.
Well, I think what we're saying though, Bill, is that the contract has to be a little more flexible than that, because we can't, but in both ways, it has to be equal, you know, and reasonable, because if we just say, hey, it wasn't, he's gonna say, well, it wasn't on there, we're gonna say, well, you still have to do it, we gotta be able to work together.
No, I understand, but that's my point, you know, that he's aware of what all the Ford property is, and then you decide how much of it he's gonna have to maintain.
I know that's what you wanna do.
Thank you so
It's gonna bother you so much.
Yes.
I was just looking at it.
Also, I'd like to add to that on Crockett.
Ooh, Howard.
Oh, no. Time's done.
Get the margarita machine.
On the,
Oh, that's okay, because it should be, yeah, it's not plugged in.
parking lot.
Oh, but people
Maybe, but I think we have enough information.
So it's not green space.
But it's Ford property.
Right.
But I'm using it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jack, very, very much.
I'd just like to
And I'm
ask you
not
one question
complaining.
too, on the old
I'm
RV
doing it.
part,
Because
you
it
know
makes
where
my
that
place
is?
look bigger
Okay.
and
Because I know
neither.
it's at about the same level
If
now
there
that it
comes
was
to a
when
point
DLP
where
came.
I don't do it.
And they blew out
You're
4
gonna just
tires,
start
they
doing it
they
and not
broke,
being able to
uh,
get paid, that's all.
their mower. It was horrible, because there's all kinds of debris, all kinds of concrete and everything in there. And it's at the same place now, because they mowed it one time and that was it, and now it's back the way it was before they ever mowed it. So there's a lot of hazards in there.
Oh, yeah,
Just
they go
to let
around
you
it,
know.
it's rough. It's gonna take some work.
Well, I'd like to make just a quick comment.
Please.
I would rather have somebody who is invested and lives here to be the contractor as opposed to an outside company like DLP that it didn't mean anything to him except the contract.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
I mean, were you here for the presentation from DLP?
Yes.
I mean, I would say they did a good job presenting. They just didn't deliver.
They just
No,
didn't deliver on
but
their.
I would rather have someone who lives here, who is invested in the fort, and he's gonna do a better job because, like John says, there's sharks out there. He knows that, and just saying,
Besides, I won't ever invite him back to my house for a drink if he screws it up. Right, Jack?
Yeah, besides the fact is that if you don't like what he's doing, you go over and shoot him. Because he lives here, you know?
Wow.
I'm just.
The Wild West.
The membership will hold his feet to the fire a lot tighter than you guys will, I
See,
promise.
you hadn't even started, but it's already started.
It's already started.
hey, you got my vote.
You got mine too, Jack. Somebody with some skin in the game.
Well,
Absolutely.
he's done a lot of volunteer work already and
Yes.
clearing the
Yeah.
areas for the hunting, and so he kinda knows what's out there.
I've seen him on the golf course, or not the golf course, airport.
Yeah, I know, and Maria Perkins is very particular about it, and she will watch, and I haven't heard one complaint since he's done it, so. But somebody else went out there and I got a complaint
we
right
know.
away.
Sure you want to do this, Jack?
May I just add a quick comment? Thanks.
We're trying to get it up and running, the power turned on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, I would caution, I agree, there needs to be a good communication. I'd be careful of trying to solve world peace when all we're really trying to do is get a contract for this. But I can speak to Jack's initiative. We held the radio club field day out at Redbridge, and it was announced that we were gonna be out there because we wanted people to come see. He took it on himself, this was before they were even talking about having any kind of a contract. He took it upon himself to come out and cut Redbridge, cut areas so that we could park our trailer and do stuff, just all on his own. So I applaud his initiative.
Yeah, awesome, thank you guys.
Good man.
Oh, we know your password now, it's a bunch of dots.
Dot.
You know, one more thing in Jack's behalf. He's a good guy. You know, we all know that. He's a very quiet man. He doesn't say a lot, but he does a lot, period. And he's never broadcasted out that I did this, I did that. He's never looked for credit. He just goes out and quite simply does it. That speaks very highly of him, in my opinion.
Going back to the old volunteer days.
Yes.
still recording though.
Did we get it?
Alright. It looks like the internet's down, go to the little sphere.
We got the memo.
We'll just have him call in.
Oh, maybe the whole power flipped up and,
Let me see if I, yeah.
try to reboot it.
Right now,
All right, I'm gonna motion for, let's call it a 10-minute recess for
Yes.
technical difficulties, and we'll see if we can get everything back up and running. Second, anybody?
Yeah, second.
All right.
The ups is inside and.
Recess, please.
I don't even think that we got, let's say we'll take a recess.
Well, there's nothing outside, might as well. No, it's gonna have, you're gonna have to have manual actuator, because the battery has to be.
All right.
I gotta do the power.
Yeah, okay.
Adam says we need the server case to power the battery backup inside there. Key to the server rack, because the battery backup needs a battery to be replaced out of it that we had not done. And so to restart it, you have to go over the case. Matt has it.
Oh,
I might get a memo.
hey, do you have the server key, because we have to reset the server? Yeah, can you please bring that up here, and then that way we'll just leave it here at the office, so that way we can use it, because we have to reset the server.
Hey, we're just gonna cancel the rest of the meeting.
Are you here, or are you?
Yeah, just
Well,
works and
just
go.
come in the boardroom when you're ready, or not, or here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know, is everything shut down?
This is the second time this has happened, so I'm not sure what's going on with the internet.
It's just the infrastructure around here, you know, like it must have taken a heck of a beating during the storms, you know. Yeah, like the budget meeting, that was just something that couldn't really be avoided, the internet going in and out like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, hard recording helps, you know, cause you know what I mean? Yeah. And like the internal network should have like just hiccuped or whatever, but like if you were streaming from, you know, like if you were streaming through a piece of software, you collect the video through the internal network, and so like there would be a small pause there, but as soon as that pops back up, it would reconnect, and but there would be a greater pause until we figure out how to get like the internet out, like you know, up and running, right?
Yeah.
But like a local recording like this or through streaming software should only have a bit of a hiccup, because like our local Wi-Fi would just go down momentarily, you know, like 10, 30 seconds, right? But yeah, it's just,
I got you.
it's, I mean, yeah.
I don't know why it's not taking my hotspot. I used this the other day on there, and it took it when we were going through all that thing with the budget.
You might have to, more networks that down there might just show up there. And then, one of them should, man, I got poor eyesight.
I can't see either, so.
Southwest Texas. Oh, show available networks above that?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it just did, but, see. Here it is. All right, there we are.
Recording in progress.
Okay, Rebecca. You're back on, Memo.
I'm back.
You're back.
Good. We turn off the lights.
I don't know, but we can see you eating. Whatever you're chewing.
Hey. Looks good.
Having some peanuts to eat since you're so nosy.
Well, you're just, you know, you can see your mouth moving up and down, you know, so it was very obvious that you were eating.
Okay. No steak here.
Sure ain't no steak here either. Please.
Well, where do you guys all have? John, do you want lunch?
I brought some boiled eggs and, yogurt.
Hey, Sharp,
Yeah.
when is the deal piece last day?
Yesterday.
They're done already.
Yesterday.
Yesterday was your last day?
DLP, he was
Oh,
asking
yeah,
when
it
DLP.
was, Friday,
Yesterday.
Okay. So we have nobody.
yesterday. You are a brilliant detective.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Well, we do have some.
Please
It
don't,
has to make clear.
please do not look brilliant in sentence memo.
Wow.
Thanks, John.
Didn't hear.
Yeah, he went to his house, I think, for
Oh, to
something.
get something to eat.
I don't know what.
Oh, do you wanna ask him if he wants something? Pull up the menu and ask him, and then I can have, if he just wants. Maybe I know the bathroom.
Does anybody know if the barbecue truck's gonna be down across the road today? Anybody heard?
There's a barbecue truck?
Well, I don't know, that's what I was asking. He's been there the last, well, not last weekend, but
I don't have any idea.
Doc, I think it's Doc's Barbecue or something like that.
Oh, is that the one that's outside the gate?
Doc something, yeah.
Or in the gate?
Yeah.
It's gotten so unreasonable to get here,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's that like burger and shake, got a black patty that like it's been cooked in 20-year-old grease, $18 and change for just a burger, fries, and a tea.
It's probably been in the freezer for a year because they haven't been open for a
Yeah,
year.
when I was a kid, you had Lopez Bakery, they were always open for lunch.
$4.75 for a jalapeno bacon cheeseburger.
And you had burger and shake, Crazy Chicken was always open.
Crazy chicken, I never even.
And then you had, Barbara Meals. You had Barbara Meals. And then, you could always get hamburgers from Pico, I still call it Pico, it's not Pico, right?
Oh, stripes.
From Stripes, yeah, you could always get a hamburger from Pico. There was,
Not anymore, now it's all burritos and hot dogs and sausages.
Things are going downhill. They certainly
well,
are.
I'm hoping the park coming in will
Well,
change.
I stopped at Panda, and I just got a container of just orange chicken and a container of the almond shrimp. Just 2 containers, no sides. It was $31.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, I'm still trying to get over this almond shrimp. What?
Yeah, so it's breaded and it's fried without the walnuts. And brown
That makes it
sugar.
worse.
I thought it was pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it makes my stomach turn thinking about it. Walnut, sugar, shrimp. Oh.
And if you go to Rudy's now and you get a half a pound of just brisket, that's like $40.
They had the cheapest gas in town. I filled up there yesterday. Honestly, I was like, Rudy's has gas.
Yeah, and they also have all the Tesla plugins up there.
Oh,
You
they
see them
do.
all, there's 4 of them. Yeah.
I never go there. I didn't even realize they had gas pumps.
Yeah.
But Gas Buddy said they got, was about 20 cents cheaper a gallon than any other place in
That
town.
adds up.
We should like lobby to the government that every town has to have at least 5 restaurants that are open every day. Government subsidies, I don't care.
Crazy Chicken was good. Like, it was really good.
Person only made 2 points.
No one, I don't know if they had chicken.
No, it's called Crazy Chicken.
It was right there by Stripes. There's like across the street from Stripes. There's a like a little old gas station. Right there. Half of that was Crazy Chicken, and they had this really good stuff. They called it the Jackson Border Patrol. It was just like it was like chorizo and eggs and potatoes and beans and cheese and all this, and it was
Jackson?
Yeah,
but
it was so good.
Yeah.
One person died, moved, I don't know, and then another person tried to take it over, and that lasted for a little while, but not.
Yeah, I never went to the first Crazy Chicken, but my grandpa got food poisoning there twice. not when they were.
You're gonna have to give me something really dirty to food poison me. I mean, I have like very low standards for it.
Look, I got, no, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to, I got some chicken chips at home.
On the counter for 30 hours. Don't do it.
Oh, there's some, anybody want a bag of chips?
Say aye, ask all
Well, it was frozen, and I put it out the day before, and it took about 30 hours, so it went from frozen to not frozen, and it's like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, you would be fine.
Well, ChatGPT was very strict, on that, and then, I asked Elon Musk's version. At first it resisted, and then it started saying some graphic stuff about what was gonna happen to my nether regions, and I wanted to handle that, and you'll be fine. I was like, okay, Elon Musk. His thing is much more fun. Like, I do like ChatGPT has superior answers in general, but they have it has personalities you can choose, like therapist, assistant, and there's one that says 18 plus unhinged.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking, he has an AI deal that you can.
Yeah, it's like ChatGPT. So you can click talk to it and ask his things, and you can select an unhinged personality.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it
somebody's
speaks
ringing.
more like I do. You know, offended and filthy stuff, and it'll reply back and curse you out and say all kinds of insulting stuff. And it's less concerned about your chicken. You think you can go ahead and just wait after whatever, and you'll go, okay.
You know, it's can we eat that? Can we eat that? I'm like, yeah, why not?
It's like 2 hours, don't do it. I'm like, my rule's 24 hours, okay? Let's go hang out in India a couple times, Vietnam a few times. We'll be able to eat anything.
The stomach's probably made of concrete.
We'll be able to eat
Okay, I will tell you if I do, okay?
Ready?
Never mind. No one gets any lunch except for me. Why you don't screw my free lunch? That's crazy.
I don't know because we haven't been mowing. DLP is, so I
got grass.
oh, put them in a bag and then we'll pick them up just like the leaves. Yeah, yeah, if you just leave them out by the curb, just like they do the leaves like in Unit 1, we'll pick them up. When they do the brush, okay, yeah. You want a bag of chips? Adam?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Resuming from our technical break, 12:19. On to item number 7, TABC principal update. Ms. Calendar, has there been any progress on that?
Thank you to you.
Okay.
I motion to make Charlene the principal.
I second that motion. All in favor?
I will update
That is,
As long as they accept it.
It will, because in the thing it says it could be the board, and if it's the board, it has to be all five, or if it's the executive officer, it would be just one. And my husband still has to get a background check as well, and I already talked to him.
let me revise the vote then. I know we just did it, but let's, can we change the language to,
Yes, sir.
I would like to motion that the executive officer be the, principal for the TABC license, Las Moras Corporation.
Yeah, second that.
All right, all in favor again? So that is a unanimous vote.
Did you vote, Memo?
Okay, thank you.
Just approve.
You eating hot peanuts or what?
Landfill and animal
So-
control issues.
We have a scheduled meeting, we're gonna have to table it. Oh, because the
Flood interfered with the meeting that we were gonna have with, Judge Schuster and the manager of the city, so.
Motion to table landfill and animal control issues. Yep.
Yes.
Can you add some context to that? Like, what is the, just without having, just what's the landfill, and now that you mentioned the city and Mr. Schuster, what is?
Oh, because you all asked me to schedule a meeting with the city to talk about the landfill and how we could work together. And while we were there, we also talked about animal control, how we could kind of incorporate that between both of us. And so we brought it to the table. We were supposed to meet last week, this week, but it got canceled due to all the stuff going on.
All right, motion to table landfill and animal control issues. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? That's unanimous. Gym security improvements.
So we have a new camera system that's gonna be installed with Matt and Lee are installing that. And all of that data and information and I guess monitoring will go to the security, up at the security gate. They started installing it, they haven't finished it because they're burying the lines under outside, and then they'll be putting up the cameras so nobody can touch them very high up, so.
So there's no action needed then?
No.
Just an update.
All right.
Just an
thank you for the
update. Uh-huh.
On to the reserve study preparation.
So I have quite a bit that I've put together, but I wanted clarification because in the March meeting minute, it had mentioned that preservation was going to work on it as well. So I had sent that to you just to get clarification because I don't know if they have worked on it at all or where that's at. I'm not sure.
So we'll have to touch base with Mr. Ulrich, but I would want to clarify that my intention behind tasking preservation was not to put the entirety of the task on them, but to task them to assist as they clearly deal with a number of buildings. But the entire reserve study is substantially more than their scope, even just with the preservation.
Yeah, and so here's what I have already. All the ACs that we have throughout. The roofs were done in 2016, except for the fire station was not done. I have all of the square footage. What I'm looking for is, I know there are floor plans out there or blueprints for each building, which I think would be very beneficial for a reserve study and the years that they were all built. I have that on spreadsheet.
Okay, so, sorry, I had to redo my internet connection to see. So you're just, well, this might.
Gathering.
You're gathering
And-
information, does it,
yeah.
I mean, how far away along this task would do you think, to getting to a place where we can assess, voting on a reserve study?
I would say we could have it by our next meeting in August.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and then just set that as a goal,
Okay,
and we'll get them
yeah,
on.
and then I'll get with preservation for their input on what they could add to that as well.
Okay,
I think with the new, having a new president, you'll get a lot, you know,
Yes, yes, I agree. So I'll get with Joe and see what he has, and then we can add it together, and then that way we can sit and have a meeting so we can put it together.
okay.
Okay.
So no action then. I think we've covered the topic unless anyone else has additional comments. No?
Aaron,
Yes?
for everyone's information, our next meeting's in 3 weeks, so the agenda will be out in 2 weeks.
Thank you. On to.
August 15th.
Thank you, sir. So next item, our KCAD ARB appraisal district follow-up. Just where are we in the process?
Yeah, we're over there. Hold on. I got it.
Mine's almost full too, these don't last very long.
No, I don't have it.
We protested. We protested the taxes. I did. I believe Charlene was there. I can't remember who else was all there. We essentially just said, you've already shot this down once before. We really think this needs to, be pushed forward and be put in front of Judge Andrade and let him make a decision. They are board obliged, obviously, and agreed that they probably, regardless of anybody's argument, need to push it further down the road. So they voted to deny the protest. And outside of that, have we got any paperwork from them, Char, as far as the ARB's decision? They sent us the next form and all that, Char?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have we got anything from the ARB yet?
No.
Okay. That's it. That's where we are.
Okay, thank you. We have on here the mud rate increase, water meter increase. This was partially covered in the budget presentation. Is there anything further that you would like to add beyond?
No, I went online to, I took down the chart and I handed it in there just so I had all my numbers correct because there was a separate one for Fort Clark, then based on the residential. And I've already budgeted in our budget for 2027, so I don't expect it to go up again, I hope, because that was a big hike.
Well, okay, so no action on that. We've
No.
covered it.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any comments on that? All right, thank you. On to discussion possible action items. So this first item is why we had Mr. Conoly speak at the beginning of the meeting for those who were paying attention or watching, I'm sorry. So the item is the Fort Clark Springs Association resolution supporting bill to improve fairness in KCGD elections. As Mr. Conoly said, in summary, he is trying to get support from the entities of population in our county, which is the city, the fort, and I guess the approach mud as well, and then the county. And currently the division of the board, the groundwater district board is such that the 85% or so of the population is represented as the minority of the board control, and he is looking to apply to the state to remedy that situation. In a nutshell, that's what this is about. So the question is, is the association on board with supporting this? To the directors.
I'd like to make a motion that we support the resolution.
I'd like to make a motion that we support the resolution that supports the bill that will be going to legislation on the protecting the water and changing the one item to include the entire county as rural, take the rural part off in the precincts. That if you live in the precinct, you can vote. So it would take that rule, remove that rule that you have to be rural in that precinct to run for the office.
I agree with you, Sharon. I think Aaron pointed out the 15% or flipping that to 85. I think it's important to note that the county commissioners are all elected in the exact same manner. Exactly. And so I don't think that, and I've said this since getting elected to this board, that the more people that we have running for positions, the better, because it allows us to have choices, and choices are really important. And if this promotes more people being involved in county politics and wanting to serve on the board, I promote that, not from a standpoint of opposition, but from a standpoint of inclusiveness. I think it's important that we include our community. Every precinct should have a voice of their choosing, and not necessarily from just a small area because they live in a specific place. And that should be a precinct. That's how the county commissioners work. That's how, I'll take their word for it, however everywhere else works. So I support this.
I also fully support it, and if we do approve it, I would like to see a public notice put out that we do support it, dispatch to the newspaper or wherever else we can to let everyone know that we supported it, MUD supported it, and I'm all in.
And the city
has not
paused on announcing.
No action.
No action. Just to be clear, that's what Mr. Conoly said. All right. Anybody, any directors against this? Any members would like to speak to this matter?
It also allows members to run for those positions that cannot run for those positions as it stands now. Isn't that not
Absolutely.
correct?
I live in precinct 4, but I would not be able to run for the water board in precinct 4 because I don't live outside of the city limits.
And this remedies that situation. I think you would wind up with every single person on this board in favor of this.
No,
I think it's a foregone
I think this
conclusion.
is a prime example of gerrymandering and
its worst form.
never been good. So.
Yeah, it was very difficult in the last election. I helped run that. I was the treasurer for the PAC that I set up to get 2 people on the board that are more conservative, and trying to get someone from a rural district out in, we had to go out to Spofford to try to find somebody in that precinct. Was very difficult. And
the list must be short. If you said who lives in precinct 4 outside the city, that's just a few ranchers and a few people, like how many are there?
And so this time there's 3 positions up. All 3 of those positions have to be rural. And so as far as I know, I told them I would help them with the election and set up the PAC and do all that, but they know the people, and they have not, to my knowledge, been able to get anybody to run against the incumbents as of date.
Has one. Precinct 2, I know that there's a candidate who is a conservative candidate, and he's filing his papers to
Okay,
run
that's good. I hadn't gotten
for
an
Ben
update on it.
Lewis's position.
Yeah.
Isn't the population basis for this county primarily, and you have to correct me since I'm not from here, is this Fort and the city of Brackettville?
Correct.
And the bustling metropolis of Spofford as well.
Between those 3 sources.
Spofford has the same population as Unit 3.
Yeah, but I think the population base essentially is Brackettville and Green.
Oh yeah, by far.
And here more than Brackettville, I would think.
Yes, and I believe like the research that was provided to the border organization by Representative Eddie Morales it indicates that yes, greater than 80% of the voting, possible voting population is between these municipal areas. The Fort, the city, and Spofford And however, you know, the groundwater district contends that their definition of rural is outside of these incorporated and unincorporated areas, whereas the state of Texas defines rural as all of us, you know, like you're not Bear County or whatever, you know, like we're rural. You know, so this is an assertion that seems to be more of a old wives' tale in the area, you know, than something that has been legally challenged.
And Eddie Morales has been very supportive, working with his chief of staff. We were actually able to get him to come to one of the board meetings here and make his presence known that he is supporting us on the fort and trying to support us with the spring. He was very helpful when we petitioned for the AG to come in and do the audit, because they had not had an audit in 3 years. And he was very helpful in approving that, because when you go and ask for audits from the AG, your legislature has to approve it. And so he's been very supportive in helping us do that. Will has been very supportive in getting some petitions and things that we're also working on for the Springs.
It seems that we have a general consensus and no opposing, so I'm gonna go ahead and motion that we support this resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's a unanimous vote. On to the Los Moras Committee member approval. Now, just to be clear, the Los Moras Committee is the current name. I'm calling it for the purpose of the meeting. And we've talked about this before. It wasn't necessarily called Los Moras Committee. You know, there was a debate about what to call the committee, but the point is a committee that deals with our natural resources and how we manage them to do a deeper dig into the fort. And I would think that given our recent flooding, that having a committee that handles parts of these in addition to get work done outside of board work is appropriate. I have had two people request to be on this committee, but I've been told there are more. But for as of right now, the only two named people I can say that have requested to be on this committee are Elizabeth Hodges and Terry Marsh. But I'm told there are more. So there's not a requirement that I'm aware of for the size of this committee, and the rules of how it operates and such also need to be developed, just like the Architecture Committee and the Preservation Committee have their set up rules, scope, etc. So this thing further needs to be defined, and I've had some talk with members kind of debating whether or not what scope is what. So we still need to work on it, but we have approved the creation of the committee. I have two members who have requested for the board to accept them to the committee. I'm prepared to vote to accept the members that have applied, but also I would like to point out that, you know, a committee ideally is more than two people, and we would like to encourage, you know, those that are interested in this, which to me is kind of a lifeblood issue of our community that, you know, deals with why we exist. I think it's really important. So again, I'll just say again, anyone else interested, please inform the board. But for now, I've got two members.
Well, why don't we put out a
dispatch?
Yeah,
yes.
I would say before we've never done, like, we've never had a committee and then just appointed two people to it without putting out a dispatch, putting out notification to the board. Why don't we put out a dispatch prior to accepting committee members? I'm perfectly fine with both of those individuals, but I also wouldn't want somebody to be excluded and be like, well, I didn't know, you know, I didn't know that you were even having
We can
this.
still appoint more people if we let them on the
No,
day
I
when we
understand
start,
that.
then we can let 3 more on next time.
Right, and I think our average committee is 5 people.
Yeah.
But
It's my understanding that once you have the committee, that the committee makes the rules, and sets up how many members they're gonna have, when they're gonna meet, who they're gonna have as president and officers. That's up to the committee once the board doesn't do all that.
So the committee has to have the board approve the rules in that system.
Right.
So they would present to us
That's
their,
all,
their
that's
scope, their
my
interest.
understanding. All we do is approve, once they set their rules and regulations, we approve it.
Your mic's dead.
Yes.
Okay, so.
I have mine plugged in.
Alright, so then we need to put out a dispatch.
Did we put a dispatch out last time?
I don't think so.
I don't think we
I
did.
haven't seen one.
Okay, so why don't we, I'm just thinking out loud, but why don't we make a motion that we are going to create a Lost Moors committee?
We've already, that's already passed.
Did we already do that?
Yes,
Okay.
we already did that.
Okay, well then, I was thinking that
So,
maybe we had a dispatch.
Yeah, I think the next step is, they have two people that wanna be on it. Those two people can go out and get together and try to gather up some more people. We can put out a dispatch, and they can come up with their rules and regulations and their officers and present that to the board, because the committee has to be approved, and which we've done, before they could actually do that. I think that would be the second step.
I'm for just letting them on and let them start doing what they're gonna do.
I think I'm fine
That's
with
what
that,
I'm
too.
saying.
I
It's a
don't think I
second.
was at the meeting where y'all said that you're gonna do it. We talked about it, but we didn't talk about, but I think it was the meeting I was gone like, 2 months ago or whatever.
Yeah, it's approved, so I would, yes, they need more members, we can put out another dispatch, but I would motion to approve these two applicants now, so they can get going on the creation of what that committee
Right.
is.
And that way we would have names for people to contact when we
Yes,
put the
absolutely.
dispatch out.
That's a good point,
Okay, so I motion to accept both Elizabeth Hodges and Terry Marsh as groundwater, or as the Los Moors committee members, and for them to proceed with the creation of the committee guidelines, rules, scope, etc., and also their, alright, so let me put this, I motion to accept Elizabeth Hodges and Terry Marsh to the Los Moors committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I don't think I have to motion further on that. We'll just go with it.
They'll, yeah.
Alright. Alright, the FistServe Account Administrator Authorization, Ms. Cavender.
So in order, I'm gonna talk a lot because our two things are dead. Oh, I could do this for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just stand up here. I'll get the big microphone.
Okay. What?
Now I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. In order for me to close the Texas Community Bank, there is a prior president whose name is on FISERV, which then is deposited the credit cards into Texas Community Bank. I have to have it in the minutes that the board approves the name change, because they would not take my agent certification that we did at the courthouse.
Yeah, just do it.
Alright, I motion to approve our executive officer, Charlene Cavender, to be granted account administrator authorization for FISERV.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then I can close the Community
Yeah, I
Texas
just
Bank.
have one question, Charlene. I have
Oh,
one.
yes, ma'am.
I have one question. On the Pfizer, that's the credit card accounts
Yes.
that takes all the money and deposits it.
Directly
Is there
to Texas
something that we
Community.
need to do to put you on that account also, so that they will work with you?
Well, that's what we just approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not just for the bank will do it.
Oh, the bank will do it. It's
Okay.
just that somebody else's name is on there, and they wouldn't take my certification as the agent for the fort. They wanted it in the
It's
minutes.
not a Texas
Okay.
Community Bank problem, it's a
Right.
merchant that our money's owing in
Okay,
there.
so the bank's okay, it's just the credit card we need
Exactly.
to get changed?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, memo.
What name are we removing?
Just a former president.
Alright, on to the next. Next item, petition signature verification. So, what has become clear, as far as the way the petition was submitted to the board, and separately, without board knowledge or request, a petition, it has come to the board's attention that a petition was also given to the staff and asked to be validated by the staff, without board knowledge. When the board requested a validated petition, because we were told that one had been done, and then no validated petition was presented. The process for, as we have been told by council, the process for validation is the step in the petition. It is the board that has to task the staff to do this. That members approached the staff and gave a petition which has been reported as unverified. It matches the petition that was submitted to the board, as there were multiple petitions out there. It has not been qualified that what was given to the staff without board knowledge or direction matches what was submitted to the board. To be clear. So again, we requested what we had been told was validated, and what did we receive?
Blank, I mean, just unnoted copies.
Unnoted copies of a petition that is not confirmed as being what was given to us to begin with. So, as mentioned, the petition can be validated a number of ways, whether it be through an independent third party or through the staff. We have been asked to do it by the petitioners with observation of the staff validating. No.
I believe we need an independent person that has a current, the original signature submitted, because we've only been given copies. The original signatures, we can have a list generated of members to check it against, and then they will have to check that list against the list that we have as lot owners against the CAD list and certify it. And we need somebody that will certify it.
So part of the task, also as described by council, said the executive officer's role in this is to create a member list for use, and that is pretty much exclusively what the executive officer's role is in this, as we have been told by our council.
So we just produce you a list
to check against the signatures.
Okay.
And then they have to check against the signatures from the fort and the signatures from CAD. Because if they're not listed, some of them are listed as lot owners in Buildium, but in CAD, official deed, they're not on the deed. So they have to be on the deed.
Right.
And that'll help us update Buildium also, and do some checking as to what we need to do to maybe even update our records. Because all these lists that we have are from the old black system. Is that correct, Jason?
All the voter rolls have always been generated out of the black system. We have not killed that dinosaur at this time, no.
And they haven't been updated or checked on or
I mean,
whatever?
they've been updated, like, as people change their properties, but no, to my knowledge, they have not been reconciled against the county records, much at all.
Char, doesn't Gabby update the blacklist consistently because of the elections?
Yes, sir.
So that's done on a regular basis, it's not ignored.
Well,
it's done when someone changes property. There's never been to my knowledge, it's current to as that time, but no one has pulled the county records and stuff, and I guarantee you there's properties that we have slipped the radar, that are either we think we own them and we don't, or it shows that someone else owns them but the Fort owns them. There's certainly something.
I can say I can say that we had to replace several ballots because their addresses were not correct, and they did not get their original ballot, and I was contacted to replace or to resend a ballot to a different address because their addresses had not been updated. They fell through the holes, okay? And that's, there's a lot of people here. And a lot of that has to be with the fact that, like you say, if they come in to transfer or they've sold their property or whatever, we need to get all those records updated. And some of those had fallen through the holes, and I did have to, some of them were not updated in Buildium as to the correct address when they printed the list.
The list is printed out of the black system. It has nothing to do with Buildium.
Well, out of the black system.
So my understanding then is we are going to take the list and verify it with CAD along beside with ours.
We just need a list, and we're gonna decide if we have an independent person that's gonna verify it.
Okay. That's fine, but I would like to just, well, my suggestion would be, and it's just a suggestion, we get the list from CAD, and we get the list out of Buildium, Black System, because I don't think Buildium can do that in the way we need it at this point, and have an independent person watch that list be, so we don't have to spend the money, so they can check it and watch us do it. I mean, that's just what I'm...
independent person is going to spend those hours of time to validate something to be framed?
Well, we do have volunteers that may want to do that. I'm just saying.
Absolutely, don't get a member to do it. Don't get
Oh.
You think it's appropriate for me to monitor the validation of a petition that names me to be thrown off the board? That is ridiculous. You want me to supervise it? You want me to supervise it?
Got skin in the game.
You know how it goes.
The point is to get someone neutral that doesn't have skin in the game, so they can make a neutral decision, not someone question this later whether someone did something inappropriate.
Look, I've already proposed this a couple weeks ago. I think that everybody has been here long enough to understand that we're extremely fragile financially. And yeah, we have a little bit of money in the bank, but it's not even a drop in the bucket. So I think we have to look through the lens of what's the most reasonable thing to do while holding our fiduciary duty at the highest level that we can. And in my opinion, that would be a board member and a direct member sitting with Gabby, doing it and not costing the association any money. And to be clear, every director sitting up here was verified by the same process and voted on by the same process that we're asking two individuals to monitor one of our employees to do again and go through the same exact process. And Sharon, you mentioned several ballots. Well, several ballots wouldn't even, I mean, even if it was 20, it would, and there's another problem with this whole CAD deal. When you buy a piece of property, it doesn't immediately, CAD is wrong too, by the way. It doesn't immediately go to CAD that Jason Long bought this piece of property.
We keep
it
saying
might take
CAD.
months
We
for CAD to
we
change.
keep saying CAD, but we need to go to the county clerk and pull those deeds. Pull them.
Yeah, but now
Pull
you're talking
PDFs
about,
of all
once
of them.
again, you're talking about our records will reflect more accurately than the counties would, and, well, maybe not the recorded title or recorded deed, but, and then CAD would. Not because CAD did anything wrong, it just takes time for that process to happen. But but you're talking about spending money. An independent person, it's not gonna be $1,000. I can tell you that right now. It's gonna be 3, 4, 5, who knows how much money. You're asking somebody to be a landman essentially and research all
I
this.
propose that we get quotes from various people to find out how much it is. You can throw out 5,000, 10,000, 1,000. That's all conjecture until we define exactly the process needs to be done and how much a legitimate person would do said work.
Yeah, that's a proposal.
Could I say something, because I was,
Yes, ma'am.
when we were elected and the ballots were sent out, they were not returned to be certified by anybody on this board. We had an independent auditor that received those ballots, counted those ballots. The only thing we gave them was a list, a certified list from here on the mailing ballots that we gave to an independent auditor. We're going to have people that need to mail ballots in and be counted. We need to have people certify the list against whatever list you give them, just like we did in a regular election.
Agree, 100%. That's what's gonna happen. That's not what we're discussing. That's part of the process. We can't change
Part
that
of the process is we have to certify the list before it goes to.
I
an
completely
independent
understand
auditor.
that, and Gabby is completely capable of doing
So we're gonna
it.
have to have an independent auditor in the end.
We do not have to have anything. The process is, it says in the bylaws, it says specifically just like an annual election. It is run exactly like an annual election.
And that means an independent auditor is gonna
Yes,
receive those
I agree,
ballots.
but they do not have to certify the list. That's not what we're talking about. That is completely separate. That is who receives the ballots to verify it. That's how the annual election works. Gabby verifies the list, the ballots get mailed out, they get sent to the auditor in Eagle Pass, the auditor counts the ballots, then comes and reads us the results. That's the process.
Yes, and the other process is the list needs to be certified before we send it to them.
That's what Abby does.
And when they certify it, it has to be certified against CAD, which our normal ballots have not
We
been.
should stop saying CAD. It has to
I
be
mean,
on the deeds.
I'm sorry, by the appraisal district's county clerk's office or.
Appraisal district and the county clerk are not.
We already had a discussion about this, and we're going to disagree. We do not need to spend money to do this. It's unreasonable to even consider that somehow the list is going to be unverified and that all these people lied and that the direct committee lied and that a whole bunch of people signed it that shouldn't have signed it. That's the wish here, because there's only two options. It either gets verified or it doesn't. And the only hope that you all can have, and I don't blame you for having this hope, but the only hope that you can have is that it doesn't get verified. And so it's like, well, what do we have to do to make sure it doesn't get verified? I get it.
Please elaborate on you all.
You three are wanting to put in an extra step in this process to make sure, to make it draw out. Jason, let's get quotes, let's do this, let's draw this out another month or two. It doesn't help anything. So it's another method of delaying and costing money to the association that is unnecessary when we've already done this since 1972. We have done this every single year, twice in 1 year. We've done it every single year we've had an election, and then in 2019 there was removal. So this has been done plenty of times. Everybody knows how to do it. This is just going to be drawn out and cost the association more money, and I am not in favor of anything outside of a committee member and a board member sitting with Gabby and verifying the list. Anything outside of that, in my opinion, is completely unreasonable.
I mean, just because it's been done for how many ever decades does not mean it was done thoroughly or correctly. You can say whatever you want, but
Jason, the system elected you.
I don't care. This is not an election. This is a removal. It's a totally separate thing, and we're just wasting time.
Yeah.
If everybody wants to move forward, then we need to vote on whether we're going to get an independent auditor or not. And if the majority of the board chooses that, then let's get the process moving and stop arguing. Everybody wants it to move forward. This is not a block. This is not a way to think that it's not going to be a way to prohibit it or stop it. The attorney has already said that the board can choose, and even...
Well, his first suggestion was that we talk to a judge and have the judge maybe recommend someone I believe that was what he said, is that correct?
Yeah,
Let's
yes.
just get quotes on the
In the first email, prior to even getting engaged, the attorney recommended an independent third party be the one to review the validation. Before we had engaged, even, before we had a contract, they said that. We have been told that 3 times now.
And they suggested we go to one of the county judges or the district judge or
Correct.
somebody
And
and see if they have, would
We're never
could
gonna,
recommend somebody.
it seems like we're just never gonna be in agreement between anyone on this matter, so we need to motion and vote and move forward.
I think we're still in discussion.
Are you saying the independent person will have to go to the courthouse and have all the deeds pulled and verify like over 16?
Yeah, that's called being a landman or title research, and it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Okay, so since there is no knowledge of how much, or definition of what we're asking for, I would motion that we get quotes on an independent audit
Are you
for
going
this
to allow
purpose.
comments
And
from the floor
also-
before you do this, or do we have to comment after you've already decided?
And also, we don't have to go down there and do research, because when you go to the appraisal office and you pull up that
We're not going
person.
to the appraisal office, we would go to the district clerk, Rick Alvaro's
Right,
office.
but when
and
you
request
go
the deeds.
and
We're not
pull
gonna
up
talk
the-
to CAD about it, we're not gonna do anything with CAD, they are an appraisal district, not a
All I'm
title.
telling you, Jason, all I'm telling you is when you go pull up the deed, it lists on there what page the deed is on, what volume, page to go to find that deed. They already have all of that in the appraisal district list. So you don't have to go searching names and all that.
Alright, again, there is a motion on the table. And yes, Curtis, you will be allowed to speak on it because prior to that moment, that this is what's under consideration. So,
So I can speak?
go ahead.
Yes,
please.
okay. This is not a good look for you guys. This is the problem. This is one of the reasons why people want to remove you. Something didn't go your way, and now you want to create a whole new process, all under the guise of, well, we need to move forward. You guys could have done some of this 6 weeks ago, but you chose not to. I don't believe that the attorneys are telling you that you have to get an independent auditor. I think they want somebody who is independent. Gabby is not a Fort member. She works for the Fort. She can do what she's always done, or her person in her position has always done, and that is to verify that the people who signed are lot owners. After that, we go, we print, and we vote. And you guys appear to be doing anything to stop that, all under the guise of, well, we need to be transparent. You're not being transparent, you're being, you're putting up roadblocks. And this is why people are upset with you. You're trying to recreate at the last minute a process that already exists, because in my opinion, you all don't like how that process went. So because you don't like how the process went, you want to change it. I believe that the list has already been validated by Gabby. If you all have a problem with the fact that it was in copies or something else, fine, Monday morning, get her a new list, she validates that, and the process goes forward. This is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, either she
This is
validated or she
ridiculous.
didn't. Either she did or she didn't.
You said she didn't.
We requested copies of that, and we got the petition exactly as handed, maybe a couple extra pages in there as the committee submitted it to us. So a proper validation would have said, okay, Curtis lives here, he has X number of lots, check, here's his member number, here's his lot numbers, it's done. Next person.
Did she use the same process that she used when you all were elected?
I have no idea what she used, because we couldn't
So
get.
you want to change it when you're not knowing what she
We
does?
could not get any comment on how she validated, what rules she used to validate it, which ones were marked off, which ones were invalid, which ones were valid. We got absolutely zero, nothing, no information. So when we asked for that documentation, we should have got that back, right? And then maybe we wouldn't be arguing. But to date, we have not seen any evidence that a single member's name has been validated against anything or how the process went. And that's a fact.
That's your opinion, I don't believe it.
No, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
We've
That's a
requested it.
fact. I have the email, and I have an email with
Ms.
Charlene
Maverick,
asking me to send her the list, and they would
I can
validate
speak to
it.
this. So I talked to Gabby myself after this all came out, and Gabby said she took the list, She looked at the names, if the names were good, she did nothing with it. She just left it. If it was bad, she crossed
The
it out.
question is, upon request, was anything presented to us?
I sent, and I don't know if the copy had gone in correctly, but it was what we got from the DRE.
Exactly, not one name was marked good or bad on that
Well, she
list.
did.
So
what she
that's
did
a
was-
validation?
Well-
Yep, let me see, is this valid? Oh, yep,
Okay,
it's valid, done, no paperwork, no check marks,
I
no
get
nothing.
that, Jason, but all you could say is, if you want her to revalidate, you want it a specific way, then
All I
we
can
do
say
that.
is that we've had no evidence of validation, so if this is the weak process that we're gonna use, we certainly need an independent person, because you're telling me that all of y'all are saying that's been validated, yet there's zero evidence for that. Not one name has been put on or off that list because it's valid or not. It's just
That's not
like
true. Charlene just said some of them were crossed off, yes.
those names that were crossed off, she already pointed out to me, and they were people that were marked off before we even got it. Some people's name wasn't on the deed, and they marked through their names, and their spouse signed the thing. So the only markings on those papers were the way that the committee gave them to us. It was not notations from Gabby or anyone here in the staff. So that's what happened. I'm just telling you, that is what happened.
So she just, if it was in Buildium, she left it. She didn't do anything to it, just like she does with the list that she
Well,
does every year.
considering that we get the list of all voters from Black System, it's really irrelevant what it says in Buildium or QuickBooks or any of our other systems. Because that has never been matched up with the county or the Black System. So do we or do we not print the list from the Black System?
Yes, we do.
So then why are we talking about what's in Buildium?
Because she updates it.
Okay,
I
so.
mean, I'm just saying, that's what she does.
At the worst here, what's happened is that the documentation wasn't presented to you in a manner that you all like. I'm still speaking, just a second, guys. I try not to cut you off. I really would appreciate it if you wouldn't cut me off. I know I cut off.
Go on.
I was taking a breath.
All right, okay.
At the worst here, then you need to take the list that they provided you. You need to print it off the Black System. You need to have Gabby do the same thing she's always done. If you all are afraid she's going to slip a ringer in on you, then I would suggest that the board appoint somebody to monitor that. It gets done in one day and we move forward. What I'm hearing is motions to spend more money and to create all kinds of new processes when we have a process already outlined by John and others in the documents, and you all don't even want to use that. And I think the reason you don't want to use it is because you know how it's going to turn out.
So I want to be clear, again, as I have said, as I started the conversation with, the process is not for members to give documents to the staff and instruct them what to do. That has been made absolutely clear by our council. Furthermore, when the board requested, we were given nothing to show anything had been done. Furthermore, this action took place without knowledge of the board. Without knowledge, secretly. Why would the staff be directed to do things without board knowledge? That's not a good look. And that is what has transpired, including setting dates for an unvalidated list to attempt to, and sending out ballots that have not been presented either to the board. We have been sent emails about giving a rebuttal, but we have nothing to rebut to because nothing has been given to the board. This process has tried to subvert going through the proper channel of the board to be taken care of. The moment the documents were delivered to the board, it was on the board to take care of the process. Instead of that, the Director Removal Committee took it on their own to tell the staff what to do and to schedule dates and schedule elections, none of which are in the authority. And this is how it was presented by our council very clearly.
And I understand that 100%, but what I would like to say, so it's on record, that validation was before legal counsel was asked. So it was before legal counsel was asked and you got the information
That doesn't
that you
that
needed.
doesn't make it okay.
No, I didn't say it did, but
Is there
we
even
were
a
not
number of
aware.
how many was valid or invalid? I haven't even heard one figure. I haven't heard the number of votes required to meet the 10%. I have never heard how many votes on how many of those were matched by Gabby, a total 350, 280. I haven't heard a number. I haven't heard, oh, well, this dude's an FRM, he can't do it. We struck off one. There's an FRM or two in there. So nothing has been provided. Not a number, not a notation, not a check.
And that can all change on Monday.
Yeah,
So
well,
at the end of the day, if at the end of the day, the committee probably wouldn't have taken any of this action, and nor would anybody else if they'd have felt that you wanted to work with them. And I'll make something very clear to this community. I am truly here just for y'all. That's it. You don't want me here, I'm not gonna be here. I got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old in a business, and to be quite honest with you, there's more times that I don't wanna be here than I do want to be here, okay? So if you get 350 signatures and you hand them to me, I'm gone. I will not put the association through this crap in order to make you vote me off. You get 350 signatures, I will bow out and I will say, I'm sorry, I did the best job I could do. The committee nor employees would have never acted like this. None of this would have happened if that was the attitude. But that's not the attitude. The attitude is we didn't do anything wrong and now we're going to make you pay. And we're going to make the association pay so that at the end of this, we've spent $30,000 to $40,000 so that you can be gaslit to say, I told you so. I told you it was going to cost 30 grand. I told you, shame on you for signing that list. Shame on you for doing what you did. That's what's going on. This whole situation has gotten out of control. It doesn't need to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. I remember Mr. Moody standing here saying, guys, this isn't personal. And while it does feel personal, and inevitably part of it is, we are only here for this membership. And right now we are punishing them. And that is not right. We do not need to punish them. We just need to do what we're being asked to do.
I don't believe that following instructions from FCAC Council is punishing the membership. I don't believe that subverting the process of how it's supposed to be handled by pressuring staff to do the will of membership in the absence of board direction, in the absence of board knowledge, and with an absence of any kind of documentation of the process presented in number, email, etc. to the board is appropriate, and I certainly don't think it is to the benefit of the membership for a special group of members to have their own process that is not announced to the board, that is not shared with the board, that has not been presented in any kind of tangible, evidented kind of manner for the removal of directors. And yes, I agree that with the threshold met, absolutely we should proceed. We certainly should. There is no mechanism to not do that once it has been validated. And so here we are talking about how we're going to do it. And the only motion on the table that I'm aware of is to find an independent auditor and at least get a quote. Like, that's the case. I know that people are in a rush to get others off the board. That's why I asked, who is you people? And I want to remind the directors that we have a duty. We took an oath to support the board of directors, not to tear down our fellow members.
Aaron, if you think that I haven't already sought legal counsel on how to handle the situation, you're out of your mind. So let me tell you, everybody that sits at this table gets to be a member and a board member. And we get to cross those lines, not necessarily at will, but we get to live a little bit more in the gray than most people do that serve on boards. So I get to be a member and I get to express my feelings in a certain capacity as just as much as I do as a board member. I get to have an opinion in this situation just as much as a member as I do a board member. So I'm not trying to tear anybody down. I've told you how I would handle this situation, and that's the truth of it. I would have already left, and I would have said I'm sorry, and I would have done it would have been what it was. I agree with what you're saying that there has been some things done that probably shouldn't have happened, but I don't think those things would have happened had they been handled differently. And so I understand your feelings, I really do. But at the end of the day, this is what the people want. It is what it is. This isn't a small special interest group. This is 370 whatever members that signed this petition.
Yeah.
So I get it, guys. It sucks. I get it. Okay, but it is what it is.
The facts of the matter are that even if you sit here and watch every board meeting, you are not informed of all the things that go on around the fort. You have a very limited knowledge.
Yeah.
So most of the people that signed that had their neighbor go up to them and say, hey, these people are terrible. We got to get them out of here. Jason did this, Jason did that. That's what happened. So most people signed that based on the word of one of their neighbors or someone they know, or maybe they signed it at the town hall. They do not have the full amount of information to make a decision. They do not have a full documented history of that. They have what they were told at that time. All right, and that may or may not have been accurate.
No, not only that. Some of these people I actually know. Some of these people who've written in, who were told what they were told to sign this document, including one who spoke in a meeting about his parents who are not lot owners being asked to sign, which wouldn't have even come up in a validation, by the way, because the son and the father have the same name. He would have never have known that his father, who is not the lot owner, is signing, and his father does not support signing. What they were presented and what they wrote in an email to be read in the board emails have been described as lies by the removal committee. And I can tell you, these people I know well, and they are not liars, and they are not even connected cases. They are separate incidents. The people don't even know each other. And to call that a margin of error is not what is going on. If people are being told one thing so that they can gather a signature and then they disagree with it, that is improper. And it's important that the membership knows when that's going on, which is why those people wrote letters to be read to the membership.
Well,
we did not fabricate those letters.
You have recourse.
We have talked about the process proper. There have been things that are done improper, including collection of signatures. However, it doesn't. What has to be proper absolutely is the process, and yes, it has been improperly handled. That has become clear. There is no evidence to suggest otherwise, that it has been handled properly, and to presuppose that that they're only behaving this way and doing it improper because of how they feel about us. It is very clear. It is very clear that people that are trying to remove directors feel a certain way about directors. That is 100% clear. And so to say that that's acting with impartiality and that it's not intended to, do anything, but it's being handled improperly because of the way they feel, that is a circular argument, and it supports the fact that it was not handled properly, and it has to be, and the board has to ensure that it's handled properly, period.
Yeah,
that is what we have to do. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. You can't suppose why people are behaving a way. It means nothing as to why. What matters is the right way to do it, the proper way, the legal way, which our lawyer has made absolutely clear to us. And the argument here is that we're not guessing on what cost will be. The question is, how much will it cost? How much will it cost to do this?
And it doesn't have to cost anything.
Right, it sure doesn't. But it was handled entirely improperly by the group.
It doesn't change the fact that it doesn't have to cost anything.
Do we want to leave it? There's certainly members that are against the removal.
All they have to do is vote no.
All they have to do is sue the association and say that that the thing was invalidated properly by staff and not from a third party. Let's say a group of other members brings litigation after this.
And what are they going to say? You're going to say, since 1972, this is the way we've handled an annual election under Article 4 of our bylaws.
This is not an annual election.
It says to run it just like an annual election in the bylaws. That's the exact verbiage. That's what it says. Run it like an annual election. So we're gonna get sued for running it like an annual election, which is exactly what our bylaws say. That's not going to happen. Nobody's going to do that unless you know of somebody. Which, if you did know of somebody and they had said that, you have a right to disclose that to the board.
I absolutely do not know of anyone that said that.
Okay.
And I think it is unlikely, but it is possible.
Well,
everybody can contest.
At the end of the day, every argument that you just made, Aaron, and you maybe, even if you were right about every single bit of it, 400%, It does not change the fact that there's a petition with 370 signatures on it. It doesn't change anything, nothing at all. It doesn't. The list still exists. It doesn't change anything. The list still has to be verified. And the process has to go forward.
Which is what we're talking about now.
No,
So
we're
let's-
talking about spending money and delaying it. That's what we're
It's a
talking about.
very simple process. You know, let's just concede, let's just say, for sake of argument, that you're correct. It started out and it didn't get done exactly proper, right? We don't think that, but let's just say that for a second. There's a very simple way to remedy that. What you're saying is, we are against it all because the list has not been verified. So let's verify the list, but let's pick a way to do it that makes sense. Are you saying that your general manager and your chief executive officer is a liar? Because if she validates that list, shouldn't that be a good enough validation for you? Let me finish. Let's say that Gabby does it again, who has a great deal of experience doing this. If you don't like the way you got the petition, then let's do it again. Let's take that petition and give it to Gabby or to the general manager and say, okay, we want this list verified and we want some notation by each name that states this person is verified, this person is not. And at the bottom of that list, let's say you had 300 signatures and 10 of them were not verifiable. That gives you 290 signatures that are verified. Doesn't cost a penny. And it's a legitimate way to do it. Let your general manager handle it. If she's not a liar.
All right, I'm gonna stop you there. I have not once.
Never said you did.
No, you keep insinuating that I am saying, are you calling her a liar? Absolutely not. You shouldn't even use that word.
Okay.
And attach it.
All right, let me say this then. All right, so you're.
This is actually not an argument.
So you're saying Gabby is not competent in the way she did it, or it was done
Once again,
incompetent?
those words have not come out
I
whatsoever.
understand that,
They're
but
coming out
something
of your
was
mouth,
wrong.
and
Something went wrong. What went wrong? You didn't get the list verified the
We
way
didn't
you
get
want to see it
anything.
verified.
Not-
Okay.
not a single
well,
thing.
I'm intimating that we give you something. And in the way that you want it.
If it was validated, then when we requested it, why we didn't see it? You keep saying validated again, but the validation seems like it went like, well, this looks pretty good here. Oh, yep, there's enough. Not a piece of math. Not +1, -1, not a total, not a date.
You're missing my point.
You're missing
Jason.
my point.
No, I know what
is-
your
the
point is.
It was handled so improperly that we have to assure it's done properly now.
Well, we can assure it's done
I
properly.
mean, John
It's
said
an
he wouldn't even
alternative.
bother with validation for himself. I could go get 350 people to sign something and he'd walk right out of here. He wouldn't even ask Gabby to do it. He said, oh, if you got a list on me, I'd be out of here. Well, you know what? The thing needs to be validated. That's it.
So I'm saying, let's validate it, but let's not go spend whatever the number is. My God, guys, you've already spent $15,000.
Okay, first off, where did we spend $15,000?
Well, you spent $5,000 trying to justify the termination
Okay,
of the
first
general
off,
manager.
that amount was $4,500,
Okay.
and it hasn't been paid. So don't be telling me Tony's putting a bunch of nonsense how we spent the money. It hasn't been spent. It
You
is
got a bill
absolutely-
for it.
I don't care. It's still in the bank account. So until it gets out of our bank account, it has not been spent. And if you want to throw the $10,000 in, does no one understand what a retainer is?
I know exactly what a
Okay,
retainer
then
is.
quit saying I spent 10 grand. Because if I give someone 10 grand and they're retaining it until they do said work, no money has been spent. It has been put in on the balance sheet or something.
Do you think your council has been doing all of these things you've asked it to do for free? You just haven't gotten the invoice yet. You don't know if it's 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000.
So why would they give us a retainer for 10 grand, then blow it up to 20 grand? That
I'm
just
not
doesn't make
saying to do it
sense.
to, I said
You're
you
just
don't know what
throwing
the
out
amount
crazy- you're
is.
just throwing out crazy
You're being
numbers.
arbitrary.
You're being arbitrary.
No, I'm being factual.
All right,
Factual,
all right,
20 grand,
enough.
yeah.
Like,
Paid the
enough.
invoice, but you don't know whether we paid the invoice. You said we spent it.
All right,
We didn't spend it.
enough. This is not.
That's because you never tell us anything.
Mr. Moody, thank you. Thank you for your opinion. I appreciate it.
All right. You guys are gonna do what you wanna do
Well,
regardless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, you can thank me later.
I'm thanking you now.
You can thank me when you're on the way out the door.
Well, I hope that doesn't certainly happen. Thank you for raising a couple of my concerns. You've beaten around the bush on a couple of my points. Director Wiley, your assertion that you would quit at the slightest breeze of discomfort is disconcerting because if I'm not mistaken, aside from Jason Long here, you're one of the most democratically elected people on this fort, and I believe you would have a strong supporting. Having said that, it is rather obvious that the board are the elected individuals here, and I'm no fan of sins of the father when it comes to normalized procedures. And to say that this is the way it has been ran for the past half century, and this is the way it must go forward, I believe must be a misnomer. As the elected individuals of this community, has your council given advice as to, there are obviously two issues here. What constitutes a lot owning person that is valid for a First Amendment petition action? And secondly, what constitutes normal procedure as to the scope of the board of directors? Now, to say that we must always go through member services in order to do this, I believe is a misnomer, and more than likely your council has, have they given counsel as to the authority of the board on this matter? Like, is it in your willpower to say third party, validation?
Yes.
That seems to be a rather cut and dry individual. Thank you for,
Adam, I have a
yeah.
question.
Yes, sir.
You said that I would quit in the slightest what?
Slightest stiff breeze. I mean,
Okay,
like if you
slightest
say
stiff breeze,
get
you would
10%,
consider-
get 10% of whatever
You would consider 370 signatures the slightest stiff breeze?
Well, I mean, if depending on how much groundwork gets done or whatever, like I understand that 10% usually represents more than 50% of the voting constituency, and I believe your wife brought up one time that elections are pretty much fighting the couch, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And if I guess. How do I want to say it? Whatever. There could be a groundswell. Like, this may be, if this does go to ballot, this could be one of the elections where we get 2,000 in instead of our 500, 600. We don't know. But my point being, as elected representatives, like, you have a responsibility to not just your supporting members, but all the members. And I would hope that this process is illuminating some glaring deficiencies in how we've done things in the past. And I just wanted that, aside from those points, I just wanted clarification as to the scope of power this board has in relation to all steps of this process. Not just the validation of the ballots, but the validation from the beginning. And thank you, Director Mendiaz, for that clarification.
Adam, let me answer your question. I can answer it very simply. The difference is that my heart posture is one of service.
Yes, sir.
That's where I come from.
And I understand.
And when that service is no longer needed or wanted by a significant portion of this community, then I will leave. And that's my point in saying that. In that. I believe all of us, this costs us more than we probably get in a lot of ways. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm only here for service and for nothing more than that. And
And-
so
and
if
my-
I get the slightest stiff breeze that adds up to 370 signatures, yes, I will resign.
Well, that I get. Like it did sound more rough, but like what I meant to insinuate is that, like, like a small minority, a uproarious minority, I should hope that, that type of
I
stiff
think maybe
freeze
what you're
is what
missing-
I'm getting
I
at.
think maybe what you're missing out
Yes.
is that if this committee would have done this to me, they went out and you're saying there's an uproarious committee, there's 8 or 9 people, we'll just say they're running around in red suits with little horns, okay? And they go out and they get this petition signed by 370 people. You know what I would have done different? I'd have met them in the middle. I'd have called them before they ever got to the membership, and I'd have talked to them and sat them down and tried to work it out. That hadn't happened, okay? That's the difference.
Well, I'm not entirely sure that opportunity was afforded to the majority of this board.
That opportunity should have been created
I
by
agree.
the members sitting here.
We didn't
No.
even know there was a petition. We just heard rumors that there was multiple things and whatever. There was no petition printed openly. There was nothing. Most of the people didn't even see the petition until after they signed it. At least every single person I talked to, not even seen what the complaints were. They were told verbally by their neighbors. And then later, they were emailed a copy of it. Later, after they'd already signed it, if their email was legible on the documents. It was not like people clearly went up and said, here's these 3 pages of stuff against Jason Long. You can read it, a sign at the bottom. So it was not like that, at least not any person I've talked to. It was all go to your neighbor and tell them how horrible these people are and sign this thing. Or, hey, Charlena needs to be brought back. Tons of people signed it just to bring back Charlena. They weren't even aware of what was going on with it. They just signed it to get someone out of their driveway that was adamant about getting something done.
That's the most moronic
All right.
statement I've ever heard in my life.
I'm gonna,
Jesus.
I'm gonna motion that we request proposals for independent verification. Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
There you have it.
Well, I think that's the wrong decision. You guys made
Thank
it.
you,
That's
sir.
great.
You've already spoken. The item is closed.
I'm
We-
assuming
we're-
that you want us off. So if this affects the membership to vote us off more, then you should be happy.
I'm gonna respond to the fact that you seem to think the membership is a bunch of idiots
All right,
because you
stop.
have.
Did
I say that?
Yes, you did.
When?
Likewise, sir.
You
Thank
implied,
for calling me a moron or
you
an idiot or
implied,
whatever.
I
I'm
didn't
not
call
calling
you that.
All right,
You've
please,
implied that
please.
the people who signed the signature didn't know what they were doing or they were
All
lied to.
right.
Well, we have a stack of people that
Jason,
stated
enough.
that already, in writing.
6?
Did they?
Did they? Yeah.
All right, on to the
You guys
next.
verified they were lying, so.
On to the next item.
Sign the petition and
Yes.
send the act out.
All right, next item, budget workshop, part 3.
It's always.
You ready?
Ready?
Mrs. Callahan? Thank you.
That's in the, Char, that's in the deal you sent this morning, right? The attachments.
The deal I sent, no,
Yeah,
it
the
was,
email that you sent this morning.
I sent the one for the amendment, that's what I sent.
Oh.
Yeah, so when do we want to reschedule this, or schedule it?
Our fiscal year starts October 1st, so we've got to approve this in the September meeting, correct?
I thought we wanted to do it in the August, or at the end, or have a special meeting.
We need to do it in enough
Jason,
time to.
yeah, Jason, how's that work? Because we've been, if
Every
we do it in September, we can't get enough notice out for
every-
October, so we do
yeah.
have to approve it.
Yeah,
in
every
March.
time we screwed it up by approving it later than we should have, and even if we got it in the last month, then it was like, oh, we gotta give notice to everybody.
Yeah, so we
change
gotta
it.
approve it in August.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think so.
okay. So then. Gotcha. Okay, so we need to have, are we having a budget workshop, or is
We don't-
this a scheduling of a budget workshop?
Well,
I guess we'll go over the changes that we talked about.
I mean, in its inception with this agenda, it was to have, to review the budget. We are, like the workshop, hence budget workshop.
Today?
Yes.
Oh, that's what we're doing?
I didn't realize that, I thought it was just to schedule when we were, I'm sorry.
We've already been here a long time.
All right.
All for putting
Then,
it off
then,
for later.
then let us table this item.
Well, let's just talk for,
All right.
let's just talk like loosely for a second. And we pretty much went over everything in the
Yes,
agenda
we did.
on the budget, so just in your professional opinion, you've been doing this now for 3 years. Where are we at in getting the
No.
2 years, whatever?
Thank you.
Where are we at in how you feel like the budget is in completion to where we're able to say, let's review this for 20 minutes and accept it or whatever?
I just need to update the changes we said and then revise the executive summary to have the income and expenses together for each department, so it was easier to read.
I mean, since everybody at the table, including you, and probably even most of the people that are paying attention, think that we do need a comptroller, which was not in the budget we've seen at all, not $1. So I think that if we are gonna hire a comptroller to help you, which everybody thinks is necessary, we have to get that money from somewhere, right? And not by going, you know what, it's kind of wishful that we'll make an extra $100,000 at the RV park, or you know what, motel's probably gonna be good. We can't just make up wishful thinking that we're gonna earn more money in certain departments to say we're gonna have X amount of tens of thousands of dollars to pay a comptroller. We need to find something to cut or something to do that's gonna put space for that money.
Understand?
Okay, so that's something we certainly need to
Yeah,
finalize.
but you,
before the-
I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the question, there is nowhere, is there?
Well, I have to increase our income for the motel and for the RV
Well,
park.
right, but to me, the when I say budget workshop, to me, that's a line by line, like deep dive. We don't. It is a bit late to do this today, but we've gone through it before. We had a little bit there, but that was really our first look at a completed budget, well in advance of previous times we've done this, which is great. But now, to me, it's time to sharpen our pencils, so to speak, and see where that was the intention behind it on an action item, because last time it really was just a kind of taking it in, and now we need to really.
And I may seem frustrated by all the other conversations that we had, but in my opinion, it's the best budget we've seen. It's much more detailed. Travis did extensive help to get that going, and you've done a lot of work on it, and I think we're doing well. But we do need to find a way to get the comptroller in there.
Okay.
Like, you know.
Can
I
we,
did say,
could we in theory schedule a meeting for the 14th on Friday evening? We don't wanna kill you yet, but,
of August,
yeah, right before the next meeting, would everybody be okay with that? I'm not for having more meetings, but I also know how important it is to get the budget.
Yes, and if we're gonna do that, I think we need to have the final budget not on Thursday night or Friday at noon. We need it days before, so we can actually have something to say about it before we get there,
I will say something about that.
okay?
I have multiple times given, and I'm gonna be adamant about this, I've given information to the board and they've not looked at it.
Okay,
And
that's
you
fair.
are
That's-
the biggest culprit.
That's fair, all right, but this is the final time, this is the last chance we have to do it, so let's.
Okay,
So can we get it on the 13th?
that's fine, because.
We get it on the 13th, which is Wednesday?
No, then we gotta make two trips.
No, can we get the copy of the finalized budget on the 13th?
And we'll meet on the 14th.
Oh, God, you mean getting it on Thursday, the final?
I won't be here on, we're gonna be
Thursday or
gone, and
Wednesday?
the 14th is good for me.
What day is
Receive
that?
the budget on an
Friday.
email on Wednesday the 12th, and then we have a meeting on the 14th.
Yeah, at a minimum, Wednesday.
Well, our regular board meeting's on the 15th.
That's what I'm saying, so it'll be the day before, so that on the 15th, we can go ahead and approve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
So
But we gotta get it on Wednesday.
Well, you can see the look.
Wednesday or sooner.
You're getting the look, Memo.
I think she's gonna give us the budget before the day that we come in here and review it. I mean, we're gonna have it, and we'll be able to review it, and then come on the 14th, go line by line, and decide if there needs to be any final changes, and then on the 15th, we can approve it.
All right, can we agree on 5 p.m. Wednesday, the 12th? To get the finalized budget?
I won't be here.
No, can we be provided with the budget by 5 p.m. Wednesday on the 12th, such that we can analyze it between the then.
We gotta ask HR.
Yeah, thanks. And if we do this, then I am requesting that we push the information that I have to also gather to finish up the survey, because that was gonna be like around the same time. So I'm gonna need a little bit more time for that, so I can really focus on
What
this.
survey, the
The
reserve?
reserve.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is far more pressing and pertinent than that reserve study, just to get the budget in and approved by us.
That's fine, if I can push that to the end of August, then I can do that by the 12th.
Fantastic, thank you.
Is she gonna be tasked for getting an independent auditor also? Who's gonna do that?
I don't know.
Anna can do it. Or,
We can discuss more, we can discuss an ES on how we're gonna do that.
And we're also not talking about that. All right, so budget workshop, we're gonna have something
On
to
the
look at
14th.
on the 14th.
yes, on the 12th, I will send it to you, and I swear, you better look at it.
Better read it? I'm gonna come with a bunch of comments.
Don't, yeah, you might be careful what you ask.
I just appreciate that you would read it,
I will
please.
anticipate it on Wednesday and.
So I have to present it by the 12th, no later than 5 o'clock on the 12th.
Okay.
And then what time do y'all wanna meet on Friday, and what if you do, what
So,
time?
Friday's extremely difficult for me. There are occasions, as like this time, where I was able to get here on a Thursday night, but often is the case where getting out of town on Friday is not, I mean, I have a
Okay, well,
Monday.
let's just do it on Saturday, I was trying to.
I mean, I wish if I could do it in the
Okay, then
car,
let's
but
do
it's
this.
not really
No,
useful.
Let's
I
commit
would
to
want
having
you
a
to.
short agenda
Yeah,
on
that's what I was
the
gonna say, let's make
fifteenth,
the
so that we
agenda
have
short.
space for the budget.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's do
Right.
that.
So, okay. All right.
Let's just move the meeting to
And-
like 5
and-
AM.
And we're gonna provide lunch, because I'm not gonna starve to death while I'm
Please,
sitting
please.
here. For everybody,
I have some boiled eggs.
no, everybody, I'm not gonna be the only one eating, I'm thin enough already, I don't need to lose any more weight,
Okay,
thank you.
so,
What did we decide?
We're just gonna
I'll
leave
have
the
it to you
meeting
by
where
the
it is.
12th, and we're gonna meet
We'll meet on
on
the
Saturday.
15th.
Yep.
Yes.
that's our regular meeting, so there's no
So
action.
no Friday.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Okay, that's our last discussion item. Do we have any additional announcements, other than the announcement I made where we have the office has, multiple forms and information on flood damage, health. So just a reminder, we started the meeting with that. And
Yeah,
Matt?
I actually have Lee working on that, and Matt together. But like I said, if anybody has pictures, please send them to me.
On this resolution, do we just need to send them, our vote, with the minutes of the meeting?
Sure.
Or do
There's
we,
the-
is there something that he
There's a
sent that
signature
we
vote.
need, we have a signature
Yeah.
that we need to sign on it?
Yeah, and you also need to sign the March minutes, they're not signed.
Okay, we'll take care of that.
Okay.
And that
Just a quick question, like, so obviously some houses flooded in certain areas, but I haven't heard like to the extent or how many or whose house was totally wrecked with 2 feet of water or 6 inches of water. Do
We
you?
only heard of 3 people, one was Elizabeth Hodges, she got flooded because it came down, because she had to put a sidewalk in for her husband.
But that was a
became
creek
grant,
problem,
right?
that was in her yard problem, you're saying?
No, it was the flood, wait, hold on.
Yeah, it wasn't because of the creek.
Yeah, so I'm curious, I know a lot of water came from 131 and there's this and that,
I
but
don't think anybody,
And
I
there
don't know
was-
this for a fact, but I don't think anybody in Unit 1 got flooded.
I heard the 4 like that are a lot closer to the creek and the 2 that are kind of by the, like where the fountain is, then you walk towards the creek out of there, there's 2 houses, like a 2-story one and another one. I think, is that where Tim lives? I don't know.
I haven't heard of that.
Tim,
There was
whatever.
2 and 35, because
Two.
they spent the
Oh, and you
night in our
Yeah.
hotel.
Do you know houses that got water damage in there?
Our house too.
Oh, you did?
Oh, The
Okay.
ones that do historically are they don't get flooded by the creek. They get flooded by the drainage path, basically from the commissary is a hill that runs down the backside of Unit 1, and the Unit 1 road is actually a drainage easement that ends into the creek and has like a concrete culvert where the road turns to park. So that is historically the way, what part of Unit 1 floods and why. It's the houses along the drainage easement, and in my opinion, the poor original design of the drainage, where Unit 1 lots are designed as they're connected to each other to drain through each other to exit, which gets clogged. Mhm. Anyway, so we've said that. I would like to motion to adjourn to executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aaron,
Yeah.
clarification, we're not having a meeting on Friday?
We are not having a meeting on Friday.
Okay.
Second. All in favor? Adjourned. Unanimous. We are adjourning to executive session.
Any more coffee?
At the ladies' coffee.
Buy one, get one buckets.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm recording.
We're back, we got Tim Randall in the room.
all right, we are returning from executive session to open session. It is 3:47, July 25th. There were 3 votes in executive session. First motion for the GM to present foreclosures to legal counsel passed unanimously. Second motion to approve the landscape contract passed unanimously. And then the motion on legal communications passed 4 for and 1 against, with Director Guzman being the against. That's all for now. A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? This motion is adjourned. Thank you very
Aye.
much.
Later, Mimo.